joining the club. He says he's confident, if ordered, the United States could wrest control of the Strait of Hormuz from Tehran to reopen the vital shipping lane to international traffic. And the FBI announced yesterday it's offering a $200,000 reward for information leading to the apprehension and prosecution of Monica Witt, a former U.S. service member and counterintelligence agent who defected to Iran and has put the lives of countless military personnel in danger. She was indicted by a federal grand jury in the District of Columbia in 2019 on charges of espionage, and the FBI has not forgotten, believing that during this critical moment in Iran's history, there is someone who knows something about her whereabouts. And the FBI wants to hear from you. Our quote of the day: to have a right to do a thing is not at all the same as to be right in doing it. G.K. Chesterton. Coming up, more of today's lifestyle headlines. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
One of my favorite books is Jim Collins' Good to Great, and lots of people have benefited from reading it, including me. But few people have read his follow-up book, How the Mighty Fall. Now, over the course of the last 18 years, it's been quite the feat of survival to avoid becoming one of the fallen, but survive we have. And guess what else survived? The world-famous Dude Number t-shirt, which began in 2007. Now, to kick off the relaunch of this elite membership club, we announced a brand new t-shirt design, a brand new certificate of authenticity, and access to numbers that have only recently become available. Here's Jim to tell you how to secure that Dude Number that's unique and special to you.
Just head to MikeChurch.com/Dude for all things Dude Number, including purchasing your 2026 version of the world-famous Dude Number t-shirt. That's MikeChurch.com/Dude and join America's morning show, The Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation's elite membership club. That's MikeChurch.com/Dude.
You can learn about today's Saint of the Day in the Saint of the Day podcast at CrusadeChannel.com. Now we'll look at more of today's lifestyle headlines. Here we go again. The same people who brought you the COVID-19 lockdowns, the masks, the PCR tests, and the experimental gene therapy injections are now wheeling out a new fear: hantavirus. It's clear this is 100% scripted theater, a psychological operation designed to terrorize the weak-minded into surrendering their liberty all over again. We have been through this before, and anyone who falls for it now deserves the shame that follows. This according to Natural News, who goes on to say, just as the COVID narrative was manufactured to test mass obedience and push a depopulation agenda, the hantavirus outbreak is following the exact same playbook. A new book titled The Viral Veil: Unmasking Hantavirus as the Next PSYOP explains how a rare rodent-borne pathogen is being transformed into a front-page crisis using the same tools of fear and control. And another book, COVID Lockdown Lies Again: The Hantavirus Deception, warns that citizens are being subjected to another manufactured health scare to roll out mandates and vaccines. The stage is set, the actors are ready, and the media is already chanting the same tired slogans. A Nevada location once thrived with multiple casinos, hotels, restaurants, and plenty of outlet shopping. But the town of Primm will now fade into the sunset as its last casino hotel will close on July the 4th, putting 344 people out of work, according to Fox 5 Las Vegas. In Nevada, we have a lot of old mining towns where when the boom ended or they had used up whatever precious metal they were looking for, everybody cleared out. Michael Green, associate professor of history at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, told Fox News, "Primm, I think, could end up being the first gambling ghost town," he said. I'm Janet Huxley for the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
Some of the best things on earth come in threes.
That's right, Lee. There's the Three Stooges.
And then there's the Cajun cooking trinity of onions, bell peppers, and celery.
And of course, guys, there's the Holy Trinity.
Now, I'm not comparing my Trinity to the Holy Trinity, but I guarantee you, my Trinity of homemade small batch rubs can put a heavenly smile on your taste buds. And all three come with my 100% money-back guarantee. If you don't love and think that my Trinity of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu, and Acadiana steak seasoning aren't the best and most essential spices in your arsenal, I'll buy them back from you.
It may not be holy, King Dude, but that's the best spice and rub deal on this side of heaven.
Order Mike Church's set of Trinity rubs and save big at MikeChurch.com/rub. That's one bottle each of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu lemon herb seasoning, and Acadiana steak seasoning seasoning for one low price and the King Dude's money back guarantee. Order today at mikechurch.com/rub. In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time.
For the last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops.
Yes.
Water. Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
So let's go back.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem, I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
Thucydides? That's the question of the day, other than this one.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
Well, I'll tell you.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day. So, you know, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
Friday. It's Repo. It's Repo.
Yes, it is a free phone Friday. Hey, you are charged with the task of telling us what it is we shall talk about here on the program. Choose from a smorgasbord of all the stuff we talked about this week, and it's been a long week, a 5-day full work week, no slacking, no taking off, no snoozing, no naps. Call in line telephone number 844-527-8723, 844-5-Crusade. Email address same as it ever has been. I am KingDude at protonmail.com. Mike Church Show Crusader Stadium chat room open at crusadechannel.com/chat. Do you know that the maniacs that are running the United States these days plan 4,900 AI data centers across the land? 4,900. Can I put that into perspective? I wonder how many functioning milk dairies there are.
There should be that many.
Maggie goes, there should be that many. Why don't you look that up? I bet there aren't. I bet there aren't 4,900. I wonder how many functioning beef processing facilities, slaughterhouses, there are. Bet there's not 4,900.
23,600 functioning dairies.
Oh, there are 23,000 functioning dairies? That's a lie. I wonder what they categorize as functioning. Last year, $152 billion worth of data center construction was blocked. Now, I bring this up because the Kevin O'Leary piece that we were playing, the interview that we were playing yesterday, talking about what's going on in Utah. And by the way, I have located a couple of activists that are working with the group that we mentioned when we were talking about the Utah data center. And I was reading from the Salt Lake Tribune story about it. I'm in contact with two of them now. We'll have them on the program next week. Because they're interesting to hear, how do you plan to stop this? So, what do you get out of these data centers? Well, we have to have some place for all the Chinese people who are coming here to go to college to work. Right? And one of the most offensive, and when I say offensive, I don't mean offensive in the sense that offensive as in, you offended me. I mean offensive in the sense it's just offensive to the mind, the American mind, that the President of the United States is running around globetrotting across the planet, telling the world on international television shows that American universities are going to collapse and all go bankrupt if we don't import 500,000 Manchurians. I mean, literally, he didn't say Manchurians, but he might as well have. I'm watching this, and I'm watching this answer here, and I'm just going, what happened? He actually did say this. We talked about this in spring of 2024 because this came up, and he was asked about it by Laura Ingraham. You remember this, Meg? He was asked about why do we need to have Chinese exchange students here, Mr. President? Remember when he told Laura, you don't understand. You can't have battery manufacturing plants with stupid redneck hick hay seeds. The gist of the claim is that, well, we don't want to offend the Chinese. Well, you know what? The Chinese, quite frankly, don't care if they're offended because Xi Jinping is quoting Thucydides to you and the Thucydides trap. My question is, here in Louisiana, I'm just going to deal with what I can deal with locally. Louisiana State University system. The legislature should convene and they should pass a law, and they should deny access to the Louisiana State University college, junior college, education system to any citizen of the People's Republic of China. Now, the Trump regime will probably take us to court, but so what? You should do it. And I'm going to write my legislator a letter today, and I'm going to say, don't you dare. You need to keep the Chinese out of Louisiana. Keep them the hell out. I'll bet you that Ron DeSantis says something about it today. I will bet you that Governor DeSantis tells the Florida legislature, they haven't already done so, that they need to do this. So Trump tells Henry, we got to have, you don't understand, you're so that's stupid, we have to have, you can't offend a country like China. It'd be a very offensive thing. This is a man that looks at American reporters and to their face calls them stupid, idiots, morons, smelly. He's not worried about offending Caitlin Collins. Not worried about offending, what's the guy, Ed O'Keefe that works for the Washington Compost. And I'm not taking up for either one of them, but I'm just saying, he has no problem offending American citizens, talking down his nose, calling them names. But we're worried about offending the Chinese? The Chinese don't live here. It'd be a very bad thing to offend the Chinese, don't you think, Shada? No, I don't think, and I don't care. So, apparently I missed this, even though it was on a cut sheet yesterday. I missed this thing about Xi Jinping telling Trump to his face, or saying that, that the United States is now in the Thucydides trap. So I had to look this up. Who is Thucydides? Well, obviously, Thucydides, that's a Greek name. That's an ancient Greek name. He wrote a book called The History of the Peloponnesian War. You know, and upon further reflection, I actually have a copy in my library of The History of the Peloponnesian War. I didn't read it. I bought it because it's one of those books that you're supposed to have, so I bought it. A professor at Harvard University, Professor Graham is his name, wrote or started this thing called the Thucydides Project in 2015 at Harvard, it's called the Thucydides Trap Case File. So if you go to, I'll send you the link, Maggie. If you go to the Thucydides Trap Case File, he gives you the 15, I think it's 15, yeah, or 16. He gives you the 16 incidences where a power was ascendant, even though the world thought it was in decline, even though the world thought it was in control and it was ascendant. Do you know what the 15th case was? The 15th Thucydides trap was the United States versus the Soviet Union. It was Rocky Balboa versus Ivan Drago. So if you click on it, period, 1940s, 1980s, ruling power United States, rising power Soviet Union. Domain, global power, outcome, no war. Well, Xi Jinping is saying that Trump has launched another Thucydides trap, and the Thucydides trap is now the United States versus Iran. He's going to put the asterisk next to it, and he's going to put, because the project is ongoing, and he's going to put war as the outcome, and he's going to say ruling power United States, rising power China. Why? China is rising as a result of Trump's war. In the aftermath of World War II, the United States emerged as the world's undisputed superpower. He controlled half the world's GDP, formidable conventional military forces, and a monopoly of the most destructive instrument of war mankind has ever built, the nuclear bomb. American hegemony, however, was soon challenged by its World War II ally, the Soviet Union. Though often tense, the Cold War stands as one of history's greatest successes in escaping Thucydides' trap. By developing vehicles for competition outside of armed conflict, the two powers peacefully managed the highest stakes great power competition in history. So that is the narrative for the Thucydides trap of the U.S. versus the Soviet Union. And then he concludes, responding to the challenge, the United States employed all of the traditional instruments of warfare short of bombs and bullets, and many untraditional instruments as well. This confrontation thus came to be known as the Cold War, despite a number of close calls, and he talks about Cuban Missile Crisis, and several proxy wars, Korea, Vietnam, Afghanistan, and elsewhere. Overt conflict between the two militaries was averted. Historians have offered various examples for why the Cold War went hot. Most credit the specter of nuclear destruction, while some emphasize the geographic distance between the U.S. and the USSR. Can we just stop right there and just point something out? See, your historians are split equally between one point of view and the second point of view, which is geography. Of why there was never a war. Well, why wouldn't the same geography work with Iran and with China? You have this thing called the Pacific Ocean twixt the two. In the case of Iran, not only do you have the Pacific Ocean, you have the Indian Ocean. You have two of the world's 7 oceans. How in the world are the Iranians a threat to us? They're not. Chinese are, which we've just surrendered to. You know, Trump should come back with a white flag. He should get off of Air Force One and just wave the white flag. I surrender, I quit. Just like I gave up in Ukraine with Vlad. Putin wouldn't listen to me. I told him, yeah, you have to do what I'm telling you to do, Vladimir, and he wouldn't listen to me. You know why Putin wouldn't listen to you, Mr. President? Number one, because you're a fool. And number two, because the war with the Ukrainians to the Russians is existential. As some people like Wah have been telling people for 4 years now, there is no way the United Russian Federation is going to lose that conflict. Especially now with the U.S. basically pulling out of NATO and leaving the starving European countries who can't even they don't have the resource of oil. Unless they send tankers across an entire ocean. I mean, they are so totally screwed now. It is actually Russian restraint that is keeping Putin from invading Europe or from invading Ukraine. Who knows? Maybe we go. Now it's time. Yes, we drink vodka. Then we invade Austria. We take back. Back to the Thucydides trap. Or the growth of reconnaissance programs that minimize the likelihood of dangerous misunderstandings. Many point to two countries' mutual recognition of constraints on competition that allowed them to attack each other using all forms of war except direct conflict. Yet another factor that allowed the two powers to escape war was the culture of cooperation that developed around nuclear weapons, beginning with the SALT Treaty in 1972 and culminating with the Reagan-Gorbachev summits of the 1980s. These summits not only reduced the risk of a nuclear accident, but also built a baseline of trust. Now, ask yourself the question, why didn't that happen with Iran? Well, I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to say because the neocons wouldn't allow it to happen. Israel wouldn't allow it to happen. Anyone that tells you any other answer other than that, if you could negotiate your way out of a nuclear war a confrontational war of a nation of 200 some odd million people with as many nuclear warheads pointed at us, as we have pointed at them. And you mean to tell me with the singular little Islamic republic that is Iran, you couldn't do the same thing without resorting to bombs? Bull. Absolute bull. You chose this path. Israel chose this path. They worked the political system for 50 years. They worked it for 100 years, but in earnest, after World War II and after the establishment of the Israeli state, they worked it and worked it and worked it. They basically commandeered, took over, infiltrated, whichever verb you wish to use, the U.S. political system headquartered in Washington, D.C., and finally, on March the 1st of this year, they made it happen. They were successful. Now, this is going to be a footnote in future history books if there is a history of the United States as a union. And I'm not so sure that there is. I'm certain that there shouldn't be, not in its current form, but I'm not so sure that there is. The President of the United States saying that we need to import 500,000? Do you know the city of New Orleans, once the wealthiest city in the United States, still a famous city, very popular. People love the city of New Orleans. Do you know that there's not 500,000 people left in the city of New Orleans? Last time I checked, the population was like 380,000. Trump is talking about bringing the entire population of New Orleans plus 120,000 souls a year into the United States. That's an invading army. Maggie's saying 352,000 in the last census in New Orleans. So we're going to have more cheddar. We need cheddar to save our universities. Well, you know what? The universities can go screw themselves. And then Professor Graham concludes, in time, the U.S. approach, a strategy of containment sustained over 4 decades, succeeded. The contrast between the success of free market democracies and the internal contradiction of command and control authoritarianism hollowed out the Soviet regime over several decades. Unable to provide both guns and butter, the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, as you all know, and the defining conflict of the late 20th century ended without bloodshed and with the United States on the winning side of the Thucydides trap. Xi Jinping told Trump China, is now on the winning side of the trap.
Talk radio shaken.
Too many free radicals.
Free radicals, sir?
Too much red meat and white bread. And too many dry martinis.
Not stirred.
Then I shall cut out the white bread, sir.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call. Because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines. Plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
And here I would make this inquiry of those worthy characters who composed a part of the late Federal Convention. Sir, give me leave to demand, what right have they to say, we the people? Who authorized them?
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2 DVD or 3 CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
I need something to listen to challenge my faith and tickle my not-so-nice funny bone.
Well, you won't hear anything about Mondays coming or cheeseburgers in paradise, but you will hear the most brutally honest Catholic-inspired commentary on Parrot Talk. Weekdays.
Oh, this boats, beaches, bars, and ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on CrusadeChannel.com. Live talk and podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My Dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
You want your meat like you want your talk radio. Shaken.
Too many free radicals, that's your problem. Too much red meat, too many dry martinis.
Not stirred.
Then I shall cut out the white bread.
The King Dude is serving up heaping helpings of 100% US RWD, white anger red meat talk. Who's hungry?
Don't forget about me. Don't you forget about me, Sean. Santa. It's gonna forget about us if we don't let their kids in. It's gonna be the greatest invasion ever. I'm gonna oversee the greatest invasion. Nobody's ever gonna see anything like it. Who thought in January of this year, that May the 15th, that this is what we would be talking about here on the Mike Church Show? I didn't. By the way, I was very heartened to hear Thomas Massey basically confirm, and Megyn Kelly confirm what I have been telling people for over a decade now about fake FAUX, fake Fox News. That it is not a news outfit. It is the propaganda arm of the neocons and of the deep state. It is their clarion. You know, Massey even said yesterday, he goes like, they won't let me on. Because we've tried. It was funny because he said, the way he said, and we have the soundbite, I'll play it for you later. He basically said what Magdalene and I were talking about yesterday and what I told her. You have this generation of 65 and older, 65 to death, If they're Republicans, they're on their couches, they're in their easy chairs, they're in their hospices or whatever, and it's a 24/7 direct injection, intravenous feed of deep state pro-war, pro-Israel propaganda. And it works. The upshot of it is it works. They're really good at it. And Massey says, he goes, they've been waging a war against me for near 18 months. And I can't get on their air. No one will. They won't invite me on a show. They won't let me counter any of the points that my enemies and my detractors make about me, including the president. And he goes, and so this voting bloc, which is very active and very committed, is going to come out. And the only way I can reach them is if I buy ads on that. So I have to buy ads. And, and then he says, Fox has to take them. He goes, but this is illegal. This is electioneering here, basically. So it's an incredible thing what is happening here and what's going to happen Tuesday. I think Tuesday is Tuesday is Appomattox. Tuesday is, Tuesday is Gettysburg. If Massey is able to beat Gallerin, this clown that they put up with allegedly the greatest military record in the history of greatest military records. John Kerry had the greatest military record in the history of military records, too. You know what? I should play the song, the John Rambo Kerry song. If Congressman Massey is able to retain his seat and he wins that primary, this is literally going to be the second shot fired around the world. And as Massey says, the impact of this will be the end or the beginning of the end of the Israeli stranglehold through AIPAC on the American political system. No one should kid themselves that they don't have this, because they do. And it's so pervasive that 38 states have now passed anti-Israel boycott laws, where if you are caught boycotting verbally or in writing or grammatically protesting the state of Israel, you cannot be awarded a state contract in business. 38 states have done this. That is the... Can you think of anything 38 states agree on? We don't agree on regenerative farming for the survival of our people. And yet they have been able to accomplish that. I just think that it's a monumental accomplishment. It needs to come to an end. But you know what? You know who's working on it now? So the American people have endured the tyranny and the control in our foreign policy of the state of Israel for the last 40 years, if not longer. Now, guess who's going to replace Israel? So don't celebrate the end of the Israeli influence, because you know who's coming to replace the Israelis? The Chinese. And you're not going to like them either. Which is why this white flag of surrender that Trump waved, you want 500? What at $1 million? Imagine, Sean, that the poor Chinese would have to build their own universities to educate their youth when they can just send them to us and we'll take the money. What if we don't want the money? What if we don't want red communist Chinese money? Am I the only one that sees the danger here? Here, let me put it to you this way. I told Maggie this in show prep. What if Joe Biden had negotiated that deal? What if Barack Hussein Obama had negotiated that deal for 500,000 Chinese students to be shipped over here into our university to save them from bankruptcy? You would be calling him a traitor. You would have Jim Jordan and others on the floor of the House of Representatives calling for an impeachment or a trial for treason if it were Biden or Obama. The usual suspects on the fake conservative news circuit would all be singing in unison, too. Oh, but Trump did it. Oh, this is another. Hey, I have a question for all the MAGA cons listening out there. Is this another 4D chess move? You don't understand, King. This is another one of them 4D chess moves. Sure it is. By the way, do you know what the latest? Professor Graham hasn't gotten around to putting case number 17 up of the Thucydides trap. Currently, though, case number 16 is the 1990s to present UK and France versus Germany. Ruling power, United Kingdom and France. Rising power, Germany. Domain, political influence in Europe. And Graham is concluding that recently instability caused by the fallout from the global financial crisis and an overwhelming surge of immigrants and refugees from Syria and the Middle East have called the existing European system and German leadership into question. Boy, howdy, you can say that again. Regardless of Europe's future, however, or the historically unusual circumstances of America's security presence on the continent, Germany's approach at the critical moment of power transition provides enduring and important lessons for powers seeking to avoid Thucydides' trap. Now, Maggie, play the last clip on the cut Shiite, because we didn't play it the other day. Xi Jinping, he actually says Thucydides' trap. He says, can China and the U.S. avoid the Thucydides trap? Well, you know how China has found itself in this position, and it hasn't had to bomb a single country. And the Chinese Navy is that I know of anyway, isn't in the Atlantic Ocean. The American Navy is in the Pacific and the Indian Ocean and the Persian Gulf and the Sea of China. That is in between China and Japan. Who's overextended here? In any event, here, Xi.
The whole world is watching our meeting. Currently, transformation not seen in a century is accelerating across the globe, and the international situation is fluid and turbulent. The world has come to a new crossroads. Can China and the United States overcome the Thucydides trap and create a new paradigm of major country relations? Can we meet global challenges together and provide more stability for the world? Can we, in the interests of the well-being of our two peoples and the future of humanity, build a brighter future together for our bilateral relations?
No.
These are the questions vital to history, to the world, and to the people. They are the questions of our times that you and I need to answer as leaders of major countries. This year...
Now, he says, can we overcome the Thucydides trap? Well, I would ask the question, who is the dominant power and who is the rising power? If you're saying that we're in a Thucydides trap, who is on the wane then? And I would say that the answer, any honest answer, has to be the people of the United States. Look, here's Trump's response. When President Xi very elegantly referred to the United States as perhaps being a declining nation, he was, now listen to this, this is spin. He was referring to the tremendous damage we suffered during the 4 years of sleepy Joe Biden and the Biden administration, and on that score, he was 100% correct. No, he was speaking future tense. We just heard it. He was speaking future tense. He wasn't speaking about what happened in the past. He even said, can we do this in the future for the future? Can we, in the interest of the well-being of our two peoples and the future of humanity, build a brighter future? He invoked the Thucydides trap, and he talked about the future, Trump. He wasn't talking about Biden. Now, maybe he was in some other instance. Our country suffered immeasurably with open borders, high taxes, transgender for everybody, men and women's sports, DEI, horrible trade deals, rampant crime, and so much more. So what is being done, by the way, to undo these horrible trade deals? Well, we've replaced horrible trade deals with horrible AI data center deals. President, you just swapped out the oligarchs. Everyone needs to have a very clear focus on what is happening here. And as you're just moving, this is just rearranging the deck chairs on the sinking Titanic, basically. You're just rearranging the oligarchy. It went from being a mass production manufacturing oligarchy that unilaterally decided and then got permission from the government of the United States to offshore almost all American manufacturing and send it to where? China. Almost all of it to China. Some of it spilled over into Vietnam and India and Sri Lanka. Most of it to China because of the disastrous deal that Bill Clinton made in the 1990s. My whole world is like upside down. I'm the one that republished the speech of Nancy Pelosi from 1996, the only sane voice in the House of Representatives, trying to convince her colleagues to tell Clinton to overrule Clinton and like head him off at the pass before he could make the deal to sell us all down the river to the Chinese. It was Nancy Pelosi, of all people, that was our hero in that moment. And a little congressman from Texas named Ron Paul. Do you know that Ron Paul voted with the Democrats on that? And they still couldn't stop it. Trump. President Xi was not referring to the incredible rise that the United States has displayed to the world during the 16 spectacular months of the Trump administration. I wish I had a laugh track. Which includes all-time high stock markets and 401ks. Military victory, where? And thriving relationships in Venezuela. The military decimation of Iran, to be continued. He brought it up to hand. The stock market's at the highest it's ever been. It's the stock market. Middle America does not subsist or draw its living from the stock market. That is an elite group of ruling oligarchs that benefit. And again, the stock market's going up while the rest of the United States is in tears and suffering. He even almost says to Hannity, it's worth it. If gas went to $200 a barrel, it's still worth it. We're going to do it again, son. So in other words, I'm not worried about that. My buddies on Wall Street, my buddies that are billionaires, my buddies are doing just fine. Look at the stock market. It's fantastic. That doesn't do anything to assuage the minivan soccer mom who has to fill the van up today to take the kids to soccer practice all the way across town or to a game in another city. That will not make her feel any better. It won't put any more money in her wallet or her husband's wallet. It won't do anything for those children. We have the strongest military on earth by far, economic powerhouse again, with a record $18 trillion being invested in the United States by others. I bet that number's not 18 trillion anymore. And now that we found out what the 18 trillion is for, most people are going like, we don't want it. You were supposed to be, the only expansion that fits into the America First MAGA agenda is the repatriating of auto manufacturing. You have to have that, and you should have that. If you're going to be selling cars, then you should be making them here. You have the resources to do so. And we've been talking about this. No one envisioned an economic boom that was going to be driven by artificial intelligence. They just didn't. And now that you're telling them that's what it is, they're telling they're giving you the flipper. with more people working in the United States right now than ever before, ending country-destroying DEI and so many other things that it would be impossible to readily list. In fact, President Xi congratulated me on so many tremendous successes in such a short period of time. Why didn't he say that publicly? 2 years ago, we were in fact a nation in decline. On that, I fully agree with Xi. Xi was not talking about the past. He was talking about the future again. But now the United States is the hottest nation anywhere in the world. Yes.
Yeah, he didn't say the United States is a phoenix rising from the ashes of its once declining history. He didn't say that. He was definitely talking about the future.
He was talking about the future. He absolutely was talking about the future. Go out there and ask anyone that isn't an oligarch, and they will tell you that the current situation is not good and is getting worse. You know, there are certain things that you just can't deny. You know, we talked about going into the election of 2024. There are certain things, you know, Kamala Harris running around and telling everyone it was the greatest economy in the history of great economies, and everyone was going back to work, and inflation had been killed by the Inflation Reduction Act and all that. You can say that all you want. If it's not actually true, and people don't actually, if that is not people's experience, then they are going to deal with the reality of what is at hand. And that's pretty much what happened, and what's going to happen again. Now, I'd say that the redistricting and the fact that the stupid part, or that the Democrats just remain so out of their minds. You know, if you're going to march Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez as your standard bearers, I still think that they're going to lose. That is not a good thing for the stupid party, because you're just going to win by default. Catholic confessional state, anyone? Supreme Court allows abortion pill access by mail to continue. Now, this was a case. The state of Louisiana got sued by the manufacturers of mifepristone. The manufacturer of mifepristone insisted that the citizens of Louisiana have the right to purchase mifepristone shipped from a company outside the state of Louisiana into Louisiana for use by Louisiana women. Liz Morrell, our Attorney General, said that last year alone, over 1,000 babies a month are being slaughtered in their mother's wombs by Louisiana citizens using illegally obtained mifepristone. Now, you go like, well, how is it illegally obtained, KingDude? The Louisiana legislature outlawed it, banned it 2 years ago. Also passed the Love Life Amendment, closed all the abortuariums. They're all closed. There's not a single one operating in Louisiana. There was a case where a 13-year-old girl went online, found a physician in California that prescribed mifepristone to her. She took the mifepristone, and she's dead. This was the cause of the first suit. And this is the one where then Attorney General Jeff Landry, now Governor Landry, passed the case on to A.G. Murrill, and that doctor is wanted for basically for murder here in the state of Louisiana. Gruesome Newsom says he won't. There's not going to be an extradition. He's not going to send the doctor. Fast forward to 2024, same thing happened again. This doctor that caused the death of a woman here in Louisiana, for using mifepristone. This one was a doctor that prescribed it from the state of New York. And Hateful Hochul, Satan's apostle, said the same thing. We have no extradition treaty. That doctor will not be extradited to Louisiana for providing health care for the women of Louisiana. So there was a lawsuit by the company that makes mifepristone, which, by the way, is killing people. It's killing women. They won in the lower court. A.G. Murrill appealed, and we won at the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, which is on Camp Street, New Orleans, right down the street from Old St. Patrick's. I pass it every Sunday. Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals put an injunction against the lower court's ruling and said, no, Louisiana law is clear. You can't bring mifepristone into the United States. Now, just imagine a scenario in which, can we all agree that fentanyl is illegal? It is a controlled narcotic substance. It's illegal. It's Class A, and it does kill people. Can you imagine a scenario under which a doctor would prescribe fentanyl to people in a state where it's illegal? It's illegal in the United States. Let's just pretend for a moment that it's not, and it's only illegal in certain states. Can you imagine a scenario under which a physician would be prescribing fentanyl, and it would be shipped across state lines into a state, and the result would be dead people? And someone is going to defend that? On what grounds? All right, folks, Free Phone Friday rolls on next.
Tries to keep them there awake at night. Are you the answer? I sure wonder. When I feel with my appetite, with all the power to release it, it isn't safe to walk the city streets alone. Anticipation is running through me. Let's find the key and turn this engine on. I can feel you breathe. I can feel your heartbeat faster. Take me home tonight. I don't wanna let you go till you see the light. Take me home tonight. Listen, honey, just like a running side. Be my little baby. Oh, oh, oh. I get frightened in those darkness. I get nightmares. I hate to sleep alone. I need some company, a guardian angel to keep me warm when the cold winds blow. I can feel you breathe. I can feel your heartbeat faster.
The Crusade Channel. Talk radio the way it should be. Broadcasting live from Madisonville, Louisiana, and streaming 24/7 at crusadechannel.com.
In a world more and more infiltrated with fake news, AI-generated slop, isn't it great knowing that Crusade Channel News is still researched, written, and performed by actual humans? Hey, what are you doing in here? Oh no. Get your hands off of me. You chipped my chip.
Boys, break it up. Jeez. Catch Crusade Channel News weekday mornings on the Crusade Channel. Live talk and podcast radio the way it should be.
No AI was harmed in the making of this radio content, but we hope to next time.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude. MyChurch.com/dude.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-681-8020. 800-681-8020. 800-681-8020. That's 800-681-8020.
Hi, folks, it's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Gentlemen, the Committee of the Whole has voted to hear Mr. Dickinson's proposal on...
Mr. President, enough of the talk of petitions.
Mr. Adams, you will respect my rules, sir, and stand...
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at MikeChurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723. Hey folks, it's Mike Church. You know, when I was a little chirrins, I remember loving the old Dunkin' Donuts TV spot. You know, the one with the guy who woke up at 3 a.m. mumbling to his wife, "I gotta make the donuts." Well, fast forward 40 years, and now I'm the guy waking up at 3 a.m. mumbling to my wife, "I gotta make the radio." But I have a secret weapon the Dunkin' Donut dude did not have. Crusade Channel Cappuccino Dark Roast Coffee and whole bean or ground. Our fresh, aromatic gourmet coffee is made from 100% fair trade beans, freshly imported, roasted, and then delivered fresh to you. So, whatever AM you arise at to make what you gotta make, count on Crusade Cappuccino Dark Roast Coffee. Order today at crusadechannel.com/coffee or by telephone at 844-527-8723.
Only the Crusade Channel brings you the Saint of the Day read by actual nuns.
Really? Our sisters are actual sisters?
Yes, and you can catch their heavenly voices announcing the Saint of the Day on the Crusade Channel.
Oh, you boomers and your live broadcasts. I'm a busy girl. Sure, I'm very important only in my own mind, but can I get them as podcasts?
I'm not a boomer. And yes, all Saint of the Day recordings are available as mini podcasts on our app and at crusadechannel.com.
I see saintly binge listening in my future. I feel holier already.
Do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at crazy low prices. They have access to great prices and discounts at over 500 different airlines, plus 300,000 hotels and rental car companies. Their prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find the best price for you. Call SmartFares today and get ready to see the world with a fat wallet.
800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. 800-313-7757. That's 800-313-7757.
When you get home to a darkened house, you turn on the lights. When you go out into the fallen, darkened world that most of Muricah has become, turn on the Mike Church Show.
Hey folks, Mike Church here.
And let the Red, White, and Dude Nation light the way for you.
Hey, we guarantee it works a lot better than that little Levite lightning bug, Ben Shapiro.
I've sentenced boys younger than you to the gas chamber.
Hop into your guilt-free ride into MAGACon-free conservatism.
On the Mike Church Show.
Most Crusade Channel wannabes only get the mission half right.
Men, you are about to embark on a great crusade to stamp out runaway decency in the West.
So why settle for half-baked radio hacks crusading in mono when you can get the real deal on the Mike Church Show?
Now go do that voodoo that you do so well.
In stereo. The Mike Church Show's Great Crusade is on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Hey guys, you got a minute?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
It's about my dad. He wants to have a sex change operation.
Whoa, I knew he was gay. I didn't think he was that gay.
No, Peter, he's not gay. He's a woman stuck in a man's body.
Yeah, gay.
It's totally different.
Sounds the same.
Well, it's not.
Okay, so he wants to be a woman so he can be a lesbian?
No, he'd date men.
Gay.
Yeah, gay.
Okay, this is not the help I came over here for.
Well, look, let's just all agree that he's odd, huh?
He has an appointment Friday with Dr. Hartman to have the procedure, and he wants me to go with him. I don't know if I can handle that.
Well, I'm sure your friend Peter would be happy to come along for moral support.
All right, but look, here's the deal. Anything he lops off, we get to bring home for Brian.
That's very green of you, Peter.
Let's do it! You gotta beat the clock, you gotta beat the clock.
You can boogie, love disco, love the disco sound. Move on your body, spinning round and round. But don't forget, oh no. Don't forget, oh no.
The stars on 45 keep on turning in your mind. But we can work it out. Remember, twist the shout. You still not tell me why and no reply.
Sugar, honey, honey, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you, honey. Sugar, sugar, you are my candy girl, and you got me wanting you.
Performing this show with 97.3% of my testosterone tied behind my back just to make it a fair fight. The Sultan of Sappy India, the Dauphin of Due Diligence, Mike Church here with you, 35 years young. By the way, this portion of the program brought to you by the Dude Gear Store at shop.mikechurch.com. For a limited time, you can get this is just out this morning, a brand spanking new Mike Church Show 35th anniversary, ruling the cosmos emerald anniversary t-shirt. It's on the homepage at shop.mikechurch.com. You'll see it right there. Pick you one up today, and people will go like, hey, what's this XXXV? What is that? And you get to explain that's 35 in Roman. Ooh. Beautiful t-shirt right alongside the Dude Gear, the Dude Number t-shirt. Join the elite club and the elite growing number of members of the Dude Number. Get your Dude Number as well in the same place, shop.mikechurch.com. Right there, shop.mikechurch.com. Don't forget the books. Is Davis a Traitor? Good to Great, Flywheel Effect. There's so many great books in the Trading Post store. You know, there's one that I keep mentioning from time to time, and that is the First Centurion. or The Last Centurion. And that is a book that is about the 7 centurions of the New Testament or Christianity. It's a really good, it's a cool read. It's a nice little history lesson as well. All in the same place, shop.mikechurch.com. Don't forget the Louisiana merch section now. Shop.mikechurch.com. General Michael Flynn has a most interesting post on X.com just now about the Thucydides trap and Xi Jinping and why he mentioned it to Trump. Xi's remark on the Thucydides trap is a classic piece of Chinese diplomatic signaling. Polite on the surface, however, very sharp and pointed underneath. It's a reminder to our president and the world that Beijing, Xi, sees itself as the rising power in a structural rivalry with his supposedly established hegemon, that's the U.S., and that any failure to accommodate China's ascent risks major conflict with the United States, or which the United States cannot afford, and there is practically zero support from the American people currently for more war, and Xi knows it. Go out there and poll, that's me speaking, because Flynn makes a bunch of good points. Go out and poll any of your friends. And if they're not Fox News zombie junkies, ask them what they think about the Iran war. And they're going to tell you they think it's stupid, they think it sucks, and they think it needs to come to an immediate end, and it never needs to happen again. Examining it another way now, General Flynn, President Xi stated it intentionally to show China as Sparta. Everyone's seen the movie 300. Sparta. Rising, dynamic, rightful heir to greater influence, and the U.S. as Athens, established but fearful and in decline. To some students of warfare, this may be an imperfect analogy, but the fact he used this phrase must be clearly and thoroughly examined. Well, that's why Trump spent 1,000 words on it, or 600 words on it, on True Social. No, he wasn't talking about us and me. No, he was talking about Biden. It was Biden. Brady Gaines comes in fifth. My son's making $1.8 million a day. Hunter Biden was a loser. $80,000 a month is chump change. No one's ever seen corruption like it. We're the greatest thieves in history. Where did I leave off? Xi is signaling. Okay. Xi is signaling that the U.S. should step back gracefully, especially on Taiwan, and never lose sight of what Xi has already said about Taiwan. One, China, and he's not backing down. Checking trade and tech restrictions and increasingly regional dominance rather than the U.S. attempting to further impede China's rejuvenation efforts. Essentially, it was a veiled warning. And here's what Flynn says the warning is. Now, the only role that the United States has in this, and this is Mike Church, America First, citizen of Louisiana, citizen of La Louisiane Nouvelle de Vendée, speaking. I don't give a about Taiwan. Now, somebody's going to say, do you want your stupid computers and your semiconductors? Do you want your little future with your smartphone and the technology and all that? Dude, I've said this before. I will take that computer, that one over there. I will take them all. You can throw them all in the junk heap. You can melt them down and burn them, and I'll trade it in for a 10,000-watt FM transmitter and be happy. This technology continues to make my life miserable. It tells me what to do. You know, Maggie, crack your microphone for just a second. Just tell, how difficult is it to get the Sam's Club to take your money? I just want to give you my money. How hard is it?
I want to buy groceries, man. And then I have to go through a 2-step authorization just to even log in. And then whenever I order all my stuff and get to the payment procedure, then it has to email me a verification code to say that, yes, I do in fact want to purchase those groceries.
Right, because somebody's going to steal your identity and give Sam's money as you. And they don't want to take it. I'm going to give you the name. The company is called Klaviyo. K-L-A-V-I-Y-O. It's an email. It's a mass email. If you get an email from me, if it went to a lot of people, it came from Klaviyo. It logs me out for whatever reason. Every 3 days or so. I think it's actually 3 days. And then I'll go back to it and go, you must log in. You must prove that you're you so you can give us your money and use our service. Okay. On the login box, there is a tick box at the bottom of username and password right underneath that says, prove that you are a human. There's a service run by a company that was started it's a Google company actually now, they bought it. It's called reCAPTCHA. Used to be called CAPTCHA, now it's reCAPTCHA. ABC owns it. If you didn't already know that. So, okay, fine, I'll prove that I am a human. I tick the box. Now, shouldn't it end there? You've got my username, it's my password. Not yours, it's mine. I'm the one that made the password. I'm telling you, I've ticked the box that I'm a human, but that's not enough. Now you must go to your Google Authenticator app. And I have to wait for it to cycle through. And I only have 20 seconds per cycle. So the thing changes every 20 seconds and it spits out a 6-digit code for the websites that have signed up for this authentication. So now I had to go, you log me out, I had to go log back in. That took me 30 seconds. Now I had to tick the reCAPTCHA box, wait for that thing to populate. And then if it doesn't like my answer, then it goes, hey, you had to click all the boxes that have cars in them. Like Jim Mosher does on the spot. That's a car, that's not a car. What do you mean, try again? So now I'm a minute and a half in or so here, and finally I've picked the right amount of, I've clicked the right amount of crosswalks, and now I'm in. Oh, now I have to go and authenticate and prove again that I am me by picking up the Authenticator app and putting that code in. Whew, finally I'm in. Just repeat that 12, 15 times a day, and it happens every day. Like Maggie was saying, you can't even go to your own grocery store and say, dude, just take my money and give them your money. They won't take it. They're forcing us now. They are literally, we live under a techno tyranny, and I don't want to do it anymore. Well, you're on our website. You're right. I do. I've given instructions to the people that run our websites, and this will happen very soon. I want you guys to not have to log in for 50 days. And you can do that. In any event, this is the actual world in which we live. And I don't know how that came up, but I've been meaning to bring it up. Okay. Oh, the semiconductors. And don't you want to have American-made smartphones and American-made computers? Look, dude, I'm fine with their tools. They're tools. That's all they are. I'm fine with it. Just leave me alone. And I can't be the only person that is suffering through this. And look, they're now looking for ways to go 3-step. It wasn't enough to do 2-step multi-factor authorization. Oh, no. That's you're not getting away that easy. And it's almost like there are people, or maybe there are AI robots that are doing this. They're just sitting back and laughing at all of us. Okay, back to General Flynn. Lastly, I believe Xi's use of the ancient theory on warfare is explicitly tied to Taiwan tensions. At the same time, it's cooperative language as well. Typical use of smart diplomatic doublespeak the Chinese are masters at. Xi addressing a new paradigm, a brighter future for humanity, because he knows the world is watching and listening and studying. This is standard CCP diplomacy that keeps the door open for deals while putting the onus on the U.S. to avoid escalation. Bottom line, and like it or not, he let Trump know, you're in my house now, and we set the rules here. Trump, you in my house now. I said rule. I said a rule. You order my number. You tell manufacturer you don't order. You order conductor my number. FYI only, and this is interesting. Thucydides wrote about the Peloponnesian War, which I told you in the first segment. The war, 431 to 404 BC, was a devastating 27-year-long conflict between Athens and Sparta. It was driven by Sparta's fears of growing Athenian, that is the U.S., imperialism. The war ended with the total humiliating defeat of Athens, fundamentally altering the ancient Greek world and ending its golden age. The Peloponnesian War lasted more than 2 decades. I'd say we're somewhere in the late third quarter, and time favors the watchmakers and not the watchers. We need to keep in mind that Trump isn't the only one who understands nor read the art of the deal. General Michael Flynn on X this morning. Is he right, class? Is he right, Mr. Helper? Now, I would add to that, just think about this. You know, Father Walt does a great sermon on this. He talks about Bill, I'm trying to remember the guy's name. Dude wrote a book on the ancient, he's an anthropologist, wrote a book on the ancient history of man from Noah and his 3 sons. And how that you can trace every country or civilization and lasting culture can trace their lineage back to one single common male ancestor. You know, for me to just tell you that, isn't that kind of fascinating? So, and then he goes through the Semite tribes, the Arabians, are all connected. They all have a common story that goes back to a single founder, if you will, or patriarch, and his name is Shem. The Africans can trace theirs all the way back to the other son, Chem. And then everyone else can chase their common ancestor back to Japheth. And he even goes through the process when you get to the Greeks and the Romans and their gods, like the god that is the demigod, the fake god that is Jupiter. What is Jupiter? If you do an etymology search on Jupiter, you will find that the name Jupiter is a conjugation of Japheth. Did you know that? If you're all the way back, you will find Jupiter equals Japheth. They're saying that, and what did Jupiter do? He created that, he was basically responsible. He is the patriarch of the Romans and the Greeks. He's also the patriarch of the Norse. You know, which is you taste, go all the way back to Norse mythology, you'll also get, I forget the Norse god's name, but you'll go all the way back and you will arrive at a conjugation of Japheth, Noah's son. It's also interesting, where do we get just, if you go like, come on, that's just a bunch of bunk. No, it's not. We owe a lot to Norse, to the Norse people. Where do you get the word or the term Thursday? Well, it comes from Thor's Day. And I'm not talking about Chris Hemsworth. Thor's Day. Where do you get the term or the day? Wednesday, from the same, Odin's Day. In any event, the Chinese are as old as the Persians. And by the way, the Chinese have a story. It's in Father Wolf's sermon. He tells you who the ancient Chinese, the singular Chinese male patriarch is. The Chinese go all the way back to the times of Noah. So, what's interesting to me, and that you should keep in mind, they're not talking about people that just decided they're going to make a country a couple of decades ago. Oh, yeah, China, the new kids on the block. They're called the Chinese. No, you're the new kids on the block, the Americans. So, we just take for granted that we're going to beat the Chinese and everything because we're us. Well, why would you think that? The Chinese have been around a lot longer than we have. The Chinese have survived, oh gosh, how many dynasties? How many ruling emperors that went bad? How many times has their navy been completely and totally destroyed in war? And apparently they don't learn their lessons. So the point being that don't take the Chinese for granted. So then why, Maggie, if I'm not taking the Chinese for granted, why then would I want number, where is it? I don't see it now. Oh, number 1. Why would I want digital media file number 1? If I'm not taking the Chinese seriously, or if I'm taking it from them for granted, that's stupid in light of digital media file number 1.
I would assume I'm in Beijing if I wanted to buy property near one of their military installations. I don't think President Xi...
No, they wouldn't let you. I don't... Look, it's not that I love it. You want to see farm prices drop? You want to see farmers lose a lot of money? Just take that out of the market. But they've...
So now farmers need the Chinese too? Oh,
Obama did nothing about it. They bought a lot of it during the Obama administration. He did nothing about it. As far as the students, it's 500,000 students they come, good students.
I don't care.
I could tell them, I don't want any students, is a very insulting thing to say to a country. They would then immediately go out and start building universities all over China.
Good!
But if you don't have those students, good students, by the way, if you don't...
Good students are suck. American students suck.
America, we won't give them a green card and things like that. And that, not only them, but other countries. But if you want to see a university system die, take 500,000 people out of it. And the ones that won't be hurt are the top schools.
But wait a minute. Will do fine. They're not our people. See, you want to see a university system, they're not our people. They're Chinese communists. If our universities have to have Chinese people in them to make universities great again, we don't need them. Then the universities need to go belly up. Bye, Felicia. This is utter madness.
You want your talk radio shaken.
Do you expect me to talk?
Not stirred.
No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
One of my favorite books is Jim Collins' Good to Great, and lots of people have benefited from reading it, including me. But few people have read his follow-up book, How the Mighty Fall. Now, over the course of the last 18 years, has been quite the feat of survival to avoid becoming one of the fallen, but survive we have. And guess what else survived? The world-famous Dude Number t-shirt, which began in 2007. Now, to kick off the relaunch of this elite membership club, we announced a brand new t-shirt design, a brand new certificate of authenticity, and access to numbers that have only recently become available. Here's Jim to tell you how to secure that Dude Number that's unique and special to you.
Just head to MikeChurch.com/dude for all things Dude Number, including purchasing purchasing your 2026 version of the world-famous Dude Number t-shirt. That's MikeChurch.com/dude and join America's Morning Show, The Mike Church Show, and the Red, White, and Dude Nation's elite membership club. That's MikeChurch.com/dude.
The Crusade Channel and the Slaves of the Immaculate Heart of Mary's Sisters present the Saint of the Day.
Hello, Crusaders. This is Sister Mary Joseph with your Saint of the Day. Today is May 15th, the feast of Saint John Baptiste de La Salle, who died in 1719. He is the founder of the Christian Brothers, known technically as the Brothers of the Christian Schools. For 300 years, this order has trained young Catholic boys in their faith in a manner so simple and clear and courageous that almost no training of young Catholic boys can compare with theirs. Saint John Baptiste de La Salle was born at Reims in northern France. His patron was, of course, Saint John the Baptist. Saint John Baptiste de La Salle's motto in all apostolic endeavors, for the sake of converting souls to the Catholic faith and preserving those who had it, was to combine zeal with prudence, faith with charity, and firmness with gentleness. Prudence without zeal for souls, and charity without the challenge of faith, and gentleness without the strength of a true apostle, St. John Baptiste de La Salle rejected. He was 68 years old when he died. We also have the collect from his Mass, O God, who has raised up the Holy Confessor John Baptiste, to promote the Christian education of the poor, and to confirm the young in the way of truth, and through him hast gathered together a new family within thy church, mercifully grant through his intercession and example, that we may burn with zeal for thy glory in saving souls, and may share his crown in heaven. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. Saint John Baptiste de La Salle, pray for us. Thank you for joining us for this brief summary of the life of today's saint. Tomorrow is the feast of St. John Nepomucene and also St. Simon Stock. To access all of our Saint of the Day recordings as podcasts, head to crusadechannel.com/saints. To find out more about our sisters and how you can help us build our convent, go to stphilomenaconvent.org. That's SAINTPHILOMENA convent.org. I'm Sister Mary Joseph, and until next time, God bless and Mary keep you.
Hey, it's the King Dude for My Pillow. Mike Lindell sent me my first set of My Pillows 14 years ago. I loved them then, and I still love that same set of original My Pillows today. True story. Now, that's a testament to the craftsmanship and quality of the My Pillow. But don't take my word for it. Go try it for yourself. Use my unique code and get huge discounts and free shipping on all orders by going to mypillow.com/KingDude. That's mypillow.com/KingDude.
The Mike Church Show has some
Princess Bride themed advice for the MAGA cons now running the Trump administration.
Ha you fool! You fell victim to one of the classic blunders. The most famous is never get involved in a land war in Asia.
The Mike Church Show.
A daily beacon of chivalry and peace.
On the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
I do feel, Reg, that any anti-imperialist group like ours must reflect such a divergence of interest within its power base.
Agreed. Francis? Yeah, I think Judy's point of view is very valid, Reg, provided the movement never forgets that it is the unalienable right of every man or woman to rid himself or herself. Agreed. Thank you, brother. Or sister. Where was I think you finished. Oh, right. Furthermore, it is the birthright of every man or woman. Why don't you shut up about women, Stan? You're putting us off. Women have a perfect right to play a part in our movement, Reg. Why are you always on about women, Stan? I want to be one. What? I want to be a woman. From now on, I want you all to call me Loretta. What? It's my right as a man.
Well, why do you want to be Loretta, Stan?
I want to have babies. You want to have babies?
It's every man's right to have babies if he wants them.
But you can't have babies.
Don't you oppress me.
I'm not oppressing you, Stan. You haven't got a womb. Where's the fetus gonna gestate? You're gonna keep it in a box?
Here, I've got an idea. Suppose you agree that he can't actually have babies, not having a womb, which is nobody's fault, not even the Romans, but that he can have the right to have babies.
Good idea, Judith. We shall fight the oppressors for your right to have babies, brother. Sister, sorry. What's the point? What? What's the point of fighting for his right to have babies when he can't have babies? It is symbolic of our struggle against oppression. Symbolic of his struggle against reality.
It's a free phone Friday tradition. You got to have your Mr. Blue Sky and Groot dancing across the screen from Guardians of the Galaxy. We're going to review a couple of movies in just a moment. Call-in line telephone number 844-527-8723. 844-5-CRUSADE. This portion of the program brought to you by Proselytize in a Mike Church Show Haberdash shop at shop.mikechurch.com. You know, you got the 35th anniversary Mike Church Show t-shirt now available in the Haberdash shop. And get you a proselyte. You know, I wore my Sacred Heart tie all day yesterday for Ascension Thursday, including to Mass last night. And it is a striking tie, but it's just one of 16 striking ties from Proselytize, and you can find all of them. The official neckwear provider of the Mike Church Show is Proselytize. So shop in the Haberdash shop today for your Mike Church Show 35th anniversary commemorative t-shirt. Grab you one of those. Apply for a Dude Number t-shirt there, and don't forget the ties. Shop.mikechurch.com. Shop.mikechurch.com. Don't forget the coffee. Remember, you're gonna drink coffee anyway. The whole thing is you're going to drink coffee anyway. 3/4 of you are drinking coffee. 1% of you get it from us. So if we can double that to 2%, then that will be a victory for our fundraising efforts and staying on the air and all that. So try a bag of Capuchin Holy Roast today. I'm just asking you. Just try. You're giving your money to the Abigail Folger Foundation and all the rest of them, and the Hills Brothers and Heaven and General Coffee and heaven knows who else. Why not give it to the Abita Roasting Company and the Crusade Radio Guild? You can do that by getting a bag or 16 of Capuchin Holy Roast in bean or grind today. Don't forget the New Orleans blend, Capuchin, New Orleans blend, same deal, but it's that unique blend of coffee and chicory. Shop.mikechurch.com. All right, I didn't make it to the end of the soundbite here with the 500,000 students. And Trump said, we're going to have him, we're not going to give him green card. Oh, you want to bet? You want to bet? I just... It's offensive. And then he's talking about, well, you have to sell American crops to Chinese people to eat. Why? Is it reciprocal that we got to buy Chinese garbage disguised as food? This is the exact opposite of America first and making America great again. Well, we do, KingDude, we're a global player. We have to have China. We have to China. China has to. Says who? You know, if you were to take a survey in 1970 And you know what? You can still Google this. You can look this up. If you were to take a survey or a census, if you will, of where the world's steel was manufactured, and who were the largest manufacturers of steel, who would come in number one in 1970? The United States. Who would come in number one in 1960? The United States. Who would come in number one in 1950? The United States. And just go back to the beginning of the Iron Age. The U.S. We figured it out. We have the iron ore here, and we manufactured it. We know the other countries figured out how to do it. Maybe they didn't do it as well as Bethlehem Steel or U.S. Steel, but primarily the industrialization of the United States was accomplished by the fact that we had steel and that we led the world in steel production. We didn't have to sell any of it to the Chinese. The Chinese have been playing catch up. Now that's when you are a rising power. That's when you are dominant. And you know what? We didn't care. We didn't care. Nixon went to China in 1971. He didn't give the farm away. He tried to negotiate peace, basically. So I think that this idea here that we have to import these students is the most dastardly, despicable, and ridiculous argument that could be made. You know what? If universities can't exist without federal student loans and subsidies, and if the states can't fund their own damn universities with all the crooked criminal sports gambling crap that they've got going on and television deals, what do they need Chinese money for? You realize that the sports book is a tax, right? You don't make any money off of DraftKings. That's a tax. It's the most regressive tax of all because it hits the little guy, the poor guy. He can't afford to lose $100 a week, but he still does it. And he thinks he's playing a game. You're not playing a game. It's a tax. And then you have a corporation standing in between you and the state that gets a cut. It is a usury tax scam. You could use that. That's probably the lesser of the two evils, but the Chinese. And you use that to fund your universities. But if you can't make it with all of the grift and all, you know, it's a famous story now. Jim Lynn and I were talking about this after Mass last night. The state of Louisiana agreed to play Lane Kiffin, this carpetbagging Yankee stooge, to coach our football team, $91 million over 5 years, I think. How much was that? $91 million. He probably won't get to the end of the 5 years, but he'll get the $91 million. President Trump, is that the university that you want us to preserve? Because I'd rather preserve the university that I talked about the other day when Lane Kiffin said that there aren't any, that LSU is pristine, DUI, and not racist, and has no attachment to the Confederacy. Not true. Absolutely not. You know, I was telling Maggie last night, I'm blown away by how many people have responded positively to my little history lesson to Lane Kiffin. People going, thanks, Mike. Thanks for telling the truth about the Zouaves, of the Fighting Tigers, the Tiger Rifles, they called them, the Washington Artillery, all under the command of General Robert E. Lee. But in any event, the state of Louisiana's got $91 million to throw at Lane Kiffin. I think our university system is funded well enough, and we don't need any Chinese students to subsidize it. And if we do, then tell Lane Kiffin he's only getting $9 million over 10 years. How about that? I know everyone is just sick to their stomachs of what used to be just so much pageantry and the thrill and the camaraderie, and yes, it is a camaraderie of a rivalry between like LSU and Ole Miss or whatever your Texas A&M and Texas, Oklahoma and Texas, Nebraska and Iowa. Ohio State, Michigan. It's all about money now. It's not about rivalries. I mean, money destroys everything it touches. And now you want to inject Chinese into it? You think that's going to fix it? It's just, you're adding insult to injury. 844-527-8723, our call-in-line telephone number. Robert, first up here today on the Mike Church Show on a free phone Friday. Roberto, how you doing?
Pretty good, Mike. How are you?
I am well, thank you very much.
Been a long time. I was thinking about the whole cozying up the China thing, and it really bothers the hell out of me because we're moving to the Philippines by the end of the year with the family, and I don't know if you noticed all the bases and everything and all the support we've given to the Philippines, and now we just turn around and be like, hey, China, we're good to go. Yeah, that's like stabbing them in the back in a big way, considering all the stuff that they have to put up with China all the time. And you figure the entire region over there hates China. It would be very easy to squeeze China like a pimple if we just basically moved the embassy to Taipei and said, screw Beijing. The whole apparatus would fall apart. But instead, we have to cozy up to them and pretend like they're a superpower, and they're not. But I don't know.
Well, let me. Now you say you're moving the family to China. You mean?
No,
the Philippines. Your military. This is a military relocation.
No, the wife is depressed and she wants to go back to her home. She's Filipino. That's just what it is.
She's depressed.
That matters more than location. That's.
It has been said that the Philippines is one of the most beautiful places on earth. And,
it's awesome.
And I tell you, it is one of the countries or the islands or the lands in what is the Orient, as we used to call it, right? And Orient is just Latin for east. It just means east. In the Orient, that actually took the faith.
Yeah.
Unlike most of the other, the Japanese rejected it, the Chinese certainly rejected it, the Vietnamese adopted it, the South Koreans took the faith, but the Philippines took the faith, and man, there is a basilica, I don't think it's in Manila, maybe it is. There's a basilica to Our Lady that is one of the biggest ones in the world, and it's one of the most beautiful ones too. So I guess you picked a good country to move to or back to.
Oh, yeah, it's wonderful. And I felt the same way about Louisiana when I went to visit y'all because, go down there and everyone is the kindest people on the planet, and Philippines the same way. And I think it's also just the cooperation that everyone has with each other. A lot of it probably has to do with just being in a place that's prone to disaster. That's part of it. If you're in an area that has a lot of, climate or, geological what have you, you're more likely to band together as a people. I don't know. But it definitely
That's a really good point. We rise together and we fall together. That New Orleans, at the start of the War of Northern Aggression, the city of New Orleans was the wealthiest city in the United States. It was the Queen Jewel. They called it the Queen Jewel of the South. And it was the envy of the South. The first motion picture ever aired or ever broadcast in the United States in a theater on Canal Street. First ever. Yeah, this guy named Edison actually came here, and the theater started, the Sanger brothers. The Sanger brothers started the theater. In any event, there's so many firsts in Louisiana history and culture, and that is a testament to our people. And you're right. When Michael Curick came here, he said the same thing you said. He was like, man, Mike, I just don't understand. Everybody here is so nice. He goes, why is everybody so nice and friendly? And I said,
I felt uneasy about it at first.
And I said, it's because people are so nice and friendly, but it is the residual deposit of the Catholic faith. You had the Spanish Catholics and the French Catholics that came here, and they still are largely dominant. So when are you moving? When's the move?
Probably a good 4 months or so from now, 4 or 5 months.
Wow. Will you call us from the Philippines?
Yeah, if we can make it work, yeah.
Of course you can make it work.
I'm going to try to get the internet calling going. I think I might get Vonage or something like that. That might work. But yeah, it's...
oh, dude, you remember Vonage? Oh, my Lord. Is there still such a thing?
Yeah, it actually has a partnership with one of the local or the regional Filipino cellular companies. So that might actually be a pretty decent thing to do.
Vonage. Oh, my Lord. You know, I got Vonage. I was one of the first people to have Vonage. Wow. I did not even know.
Oh, God.
Well, Robert, and where are you now?
I'm in Idaho.
Okay. Oh, Robert Sprague. Okay, you said, I was trying to figure out, well, I know this voice, and I know you. Okay, I met your wife.
Yeah.
So, now this is just, you have to talk to me a little longer here. Idaho is one of the places where people are leaving the rest of the United States to go to.
Yeah, it's a great place. Honestly, if it wasn't for the fact that my wife is just not feeling it and wants to go back to where she's from, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that if you're from America doesn't have this issue, right? Because I mean, even though like Louisiana and Texas and places like that have some national, or some pride to their location, but more often than not, it's kind of like we're all celebrating our diversity, yada yada yada, and everybody is so separate, like we're all different, and yet the only thing we can really unite on is the location that we're at. Well, okay, but that doesn't bring you the same, I don't know, connection, as it were.
Yes.
If you're Norwegian, then your home is Norway. I mean, regardless, that's just what it is. I mean, you go somewhere else, you're going to be like, yeah, but Philippines, same thing. It's they go all from Philippines still at home, and they're going to feel that way no matter what. They could be like they're just a lost puppy without it, man. And it is what it is.
It should be that the thing that connects us is the faith. That's the one thing that would connect everyone. And people so misunderstand. You want to live in a theocracy. Your ancestors lived in Christendom, and they didn't consider it a theocracy. They consider it a flourishing kingdom, a flourishing sovereignty, whatever you wish to call it. But they were united by one thing, and that was the faith. And yes, they had squabbles, and yes, they disagreed, and yes, they had their own cultures that endured to this day. They endure to this day, and the reason they endure is because they were united by Catholicism. Now, it's been on the wane for a century now, but you can see the young people going like, I'm not so sure that this secular way and this technocracy is a good replacement for Christendom. So I think that is what is at the ballot box these days. And I think a lot of young people are wisely choosing or being inspired by the Holy Ghost to choose Catholicity over technocracy. And I think it's the right choice.
We got a lot of things to debate about and fight about, that's for sure.
Sure.
It would be really if we just, because here's the thing, right? I mean, I go to the Society Chapel, it's a CX Chapel in Plymouth, Idaho, and it's a great little place, and I love the people, and I definitely side with that, with them. And that's another issue, right? You go overseas and you go anywhere, and you're going to be dealing with now because of the threat from Homo in the Vatican about excommunication. That changes everything, doesn't it?
Oh,
well,
good Lord!
It's a mess.
You had to bring it up. I was enjoying the call so much, and then you had to bring up the homos.
But it is what it is. I mean, right? So, at least in the Philippines, it's the thing, right? I know, they're mostly Novus Ordo. Yes, they mostly go to the regular, kind of Catholic, situation these days. That's true. However, it's culturally Catholic. And that it makes a big difference when you live in a place that, everyone is celebrating the faith. And even if they don't necessarily understand the ins and outs and all the what have yous in the church going on, they're still having these massive festivals. They still celebrate the faith in every way possible, and it's just wonderful. It's like you live in a place like Idaho, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of unchurched. It's a nice place. It really is. It's just that it's like every other American Protestant thing where you're kind of like going around, you're going, okay, well, where's the celebrations? Where's the parades? Oh, that's right, because we can't do that because it'd be too Catholic. And then
well, you get the no, Christ died for our celebration. We don't have to have one. He had it. There was a party on Calvary. There was a party on Calvary, and they don't actually say that. And I'm kind of joshing with some of them.
No,
I'm picking at them, but Robert.
Yeah.
It's great to hear from you. I'm glad that you called. Call back anytime and let us know when you are actually pulling the trigger on the Philippine move.
I will the second I sell the house. Hey, here's another thing, Mike. Before I go, we've got to assume the. I got my mortgage. I'm trying to get that assumed actually by a buddy at the church. So we're going to actually help out someone at the church, and that's the idea. So they're going to cut us a check, or at least the father of the couple are going to send us a check for what we need to get out of the house, and then they can just assume the mortgage. And I got a 2.75. So that's pretty awesome. I'm like, hey, cool.
That's the way to do it. Hey, Robert.
I know, right?
I got to go. We're out of time. Great to hear from you, brother.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you so much. It's great to get phone calls. I'm not sure I want Vonage, though, if that call was going through Vonage, because it was some good Vonage, and then there's bad Vonage. I'm going to review a couple of movies. I meant to do it this segment. I'll do it next. We're going to do Crime 101 and The Housemaid. And I'm just going to mention another one. I'm not going to give a big review because I'm going to tell you, whatever you do, stay far away. If you see it playing somewhere, just run. Tell them to change the channel, for God's sake. Hey, crusadechannel.com/coffee for questions.
I need something to listen to challenge my faith and tickle my not-so-nice funny bone.
Well, you won't hear anything about Mondays coming or cheeseburgers in paradise, but you will hear the most brutally honest Catholic-inspired commentary on Parrot Talk. Weekdays.
Oh, this boats, beaches, bars, and ballads fan sees what you did there.
Weekdays at 2 Central on the Crusade Channel, our app, and always on crusadechannel.com. Live talking podcast radio.
The way it should be.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Road to Independence, the movie. The Road to Independence tells the exciting story of the Founding Fathers' struggle to declare independence.
Resolved that these united colonies are, and of right ought to be, free and independent states, that they are absolved from all allegiance to the British crown, and that all political connection between them and the state of Great Britain is, and ought to be, totally dissolved.
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and are packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Road to Independence on DVD and CD. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
Music, pop, pop, pop music.
Broadcasting 50,000 kilowatts from atop the tallest radio tower on the planet. We are KRSD, the Crusade Channel.
Madisonville. Well, it's what our call letters would be if we were on FM. Mike Church Show News. News you can trust.
Because let's face it, the truth just sounds different. Like a symphony of facts.
And now, here's Janet Huxley.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. Welcome to Friday, May 15th, 2026. I'm Janet Huxley, the Mike Church Show News Desk, live from the ranch in Kansas City. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at the all-new MikeChurch.com. Here's what to listen for this hour. Trump and Xi to meet for second day of talks. Middle East commander says Iran's drones are depleted, so we could open the Strait of Hormuz. FBI offers $200,000 reward for former Air Force intelligence agent accused of spying for Iran. Casino resorts in Nevada location once packed become ghost town. And it's clear the hantavirus is 100% scripted theater. President Donald Trump will meet with Chinese leader Xi Jinping for the second day of their summit today, with Iran and Taiwan expected to dominate the agenda. The war in Iran approaching its 12th week has upended international energy markets. Global oil prices are above $100 a barrel, and the costs of various capital and consumer goods have surged. In an interview with Fox News host Sean Hannity last night, the president said the Chinese regime does not intend to stop buying energy from Iran. Xi said he's not going to give military equipment to Iran. That's a big statement, Trump told Hannity, but at the same time, he said they buy a lot of their oil there and they'd like to keep doing that. It took the U.S. military less than 40 days to destroy 90% of Iran's operational ballistic missile and drone capacities, annihilate its navy, dismantle its support for proxy militias, and derail its emergent nuclear weapons program, the commander of U.S. forces in the Middle East said yesterday. Across every element of national power, they have been significantly degraded, Admiral Brad Cooper said, and that with 2 more Navy aircraft carrier battle groups and a Marine task force joining the club, he says he's confident, if ordered, the United States could wrest control of the Strait of Hormuz from Tehran to reopen the vital shipping lane to international traffic. And the FBI announced yesterday it's offering a $200,000 reward for information leading to the apprehension and prosecution of Monica Witt, a former U.S. service member and counterintelligence agent who defected to Iran and has put the lives of countless military personnel in danger. She was indicted by a federal grand jury in the District of Columbia in 2019 on charges of espionage, and the FBI has not forgotten, believing that during this critical moment in Iran's history, there is someone who knows something about her whereabouts. And the FBI wants to hear from you. Our quote of the day: to have a right to do a thing is not at all the same as to be right in doing it. G.K. Chesterton. Coming up, more of today's lifestyle headlines. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Membership has its privileges.
American Express was right back in the 1970s. Membership has its privileges, and no membership privilege is greater to a Red, White, and Dude Nation listener than membership in the elite membership club that is the Dude Number. Here's Lee to tell you how to get yours.
That's right, King Dude. Membership does have its privileges. And when it comes to the Dude Number, applying for membership has never been easier. Just head to mikechurch.com/dude to start the membership process. Your unique and one-of-a-kind membership and all the privileges that come with it awaits you. As a member, you'll enjoy private chat groups, VIP privileges to all Mike Church Show events, early access to new Dude-geared store items, and of course, your unique Dude Number.
Dude 1210 reporting all quiet on the Eastern Front.
This is Mike's favorite punching bag, Dude number 13.
Hi, this is Steve. My Dude number is 2112.
Dude number 2004, proud member of the Red, White, and Dude Nation, reporting for duty.
Become a part of something bigger than any talk show there is and apply for your Dude Number today at mikechurch.com/dude.
You can learn about today's Saint of the Day in the Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com. Now we'll look at more of today's lifestyle headlines. Here we go again. The same people who brought you the COVID-19 lockdowns, the masks, the PCR tests, and the experimental gene therapy injections are now wheeling out a new fear: hantavirus. It's clear this is 100% scripted theater, a psychological operation designed to terrorize the weak-minded into surrendering their liberty all over again. We have been through this before, and anyone who falls for it now deserves the shame that follows. This according to Natural News, who goes on to say just as the COVID narrative was manufactured to test mass obedience and push a depopulation agenda, the hantavirus outbreak is following the exact same playbook. A new book titled The Viral Veil: Unmasking Hantavirus as the Next PSYOP explains how a rare rodent-borne pathogen is being transformed into a front-page crisis using the same tools of fear and control. And another book, COVID Lockdown Lies Again: The Hantavirus Deception, warns that citizens are being subjected to another manufactured health scare to roll out mandates and vaccines. The stage is set, the actors are ready, and the media is already chanting the same tired slogans. A Nevada location once thrived with multiple casinos, hotels, restaurants, and plenty of outlet shopping. But the town of Primm will now fade into the sunset as its last casino hotel will close on July the 4th, putting 344 people out of work, according to Fox 5 Las Vegas. In Nevada, we have a lot of old mining towns where when the boom ended or they had used up whatever precious metal they were looking for, everybody cleared out. Michael Green, associate professor of history at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas, told Fox News, Primm, I think, could end up being the first gambling ghost town, he said. I'm Janet Huxley for the Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation, because ethics in broadcasting matters.
Hey folks, these days when it comes to all things that taste good and keep us happy and well fed, more Americans than ever are looking for homegrown, small batch, made from all natural, American ingredients, cooking products, and spices. Well, in 2009, me and two buddies decided if we were going to keep entering barbecue cook-off competitions, we needed our own rub. And after 5 years of trial and error, heartache and sweat, and a couple of fistfights, we finally settled upon the seasoning that you have come to know and love, my world-famous Beast and Butt Rub. And I still offer each backyard grill master and indoor range ruler my money-back guarantee. If you don't love and think that my Beast and Butt Rub is the best and most essential spice in your arsenal, I'll buy it back from you.
Wow, that's one heck of a guarantee. A guarantee that I can personally tell you the KingDude will not have to honor with me. Because not only am I a spokeswoman, I am also one of those range ruling chefs. Get your bottle or case of 12 of Beast and Butt Rub today at mikechurch.com/rub. That's mikechurch.com/rub.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops.
Yes. The last time, I'm pretty sure what's killing the crops is this Brondo stuff.
The Brondo's got what plants crave. It's got electrolytes.
So wait a minute. What you're saying is that you want us to put water on the crops.
Yes.
Water? Like out the toilet?
Well, I mean, it doesn't have to be out of the toilet, but yeah, that's the idea.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
Okay, look, the plants aren't growing, so I'm pretty sure that the Brondo's not working. Now, I'm no botanist, but I do know that if you put water on plants, they grow.
Well, I've never seen no plants grow out of no toilet.
Hey, that's good. You sure you ain't the smartest guy in the world?
Yeah.
Okay, look, you want to solve this problem. I want to get my pardon, so why don't we just try it, okay? And not worry about what plants crave.
Brondo's got what plants crave.
Yeah, it's got electrolytes.
What are electrolytes? Do you even know?
It's what they use to make Brondo.
Yeah, but why did they use them to make Brondo?
Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
And now more of what you bought your Dude Nation Metal membership for. Third and final hour of the program for the week. Mike Church Show here is on. Call-in line, telephone number 844-527-8723, 8445-CRUSADE. Email address, same as it ever had been, I am KingDude at protonmail.com. You know, Maggie, every now and then we should throw this out to people and let them know that unlike all of all of your favorite podcasters, other than Tucker that has his own kind of set, we actually use almost exclusively a photographer from New Orleans. And you can follow him on X. He's David Nola. He's just a great photographer. He goes around the city just taking the most beautiful pictures because people like him pictures. And Maggie finds one and throws it up as the background today. What is the background today? It was St. Louis Cathedral. What is this? Oh, St. Louis Cathedral in the background there. You'll see it right there. So thanks to David Nola. Let's get the program restarted. It is a free phone Friday.
Oh, and remember, Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
So you know what that means.
So, if you want to, go ahead and wear a Hawaiian shirt and jeans.
It's Repo.
Hope that
is. It's Repo.
Yes, it is a free phone Friday. Yay! Day you are charged with the task of telling us what it is we shall talk about on the program. Telephone number 844-527-8723. Look, if you won't call the program because you're intimidated or you just scared or got stage fright, there is another way to communicate, and that is go to crusadechannel.com/coffee. Ask your question by buying me a cup of coffee. Simple. Make your comment, ask your question. Same thing. So go to crusadechannel.com/coffee. And I ought to have a whole basket full of questions on this day. This portion of the program brought to you by the Crusade Radio Guild. crusadechannel.com/donate. Folks, there's a lot of bills came due this month that we knew were coming. But now it's time to pay them, and they are bills for the Crusade Radio Guild. So I sent an email out yesterday. You check your email. There's an email in there with an explanation of the whole thing. There's even pictures, because people like in pictures of me with the Slaves to the Immaculate Heart Sisters in Wallens on our little tour that I gave for them when they were here. That's one of the expenses, but it's a small one. And there are others that are larger. Can you help out? So I'm asking, please, go to crusadechannel.com/donate. crusadechannel.com/donate. And hopefully Maggie will give me a name or two to read before the end of the program. So thank you very much in advance. Or you could make your donation in the coffee shop. Buy a big cup of coffee. It all goes to the same place. So crusadechannel.com/donate. Or if you want to leave a comment and have me read it on air at the end of the show, or answer a question, happy to do so. crusadechannel.com/coffee. Let's do some movie reviews. Un Cinema Critique, episode number 3 now. So this is our weekly movie review segment here, and I'm going to review 3 movies for you today. We're going to do Crime 101 with Thor. That's Chris Hemsworth. We're going to do The Housemaid with Sydney Sweeney. I kept thinking Sweeney Todd for a minute. What the hell Sweeney Todd? Was Sydney Sweeney and Rebecca Sonnenschein. And then I'm going to mention, so I'm going to get the first one, the worst one out of the way first. It's called Whistle. Stay away, run. It's the most ridiculous, stupid, pornographic, imbecilic piece of an attempt at horror cinema quite possibly ever. Directed by Corin Hardy, Owen Egerton is the writer, and the little Bimbette, the star, his name is Daphne Keane. Folks, just walk away. You'll see the trailer and you think, oh, that looks kind of creepy and spooky. It isn't. Look at the movie poster. The movie poster even has a sexual connotation to it. Don't blow it over the head of the Aztec. Graven, besides there's Satanism all over it. Just skip it, stay away. It gets 4 Marxists, 2 Jared Kushners, 1 Laura Loomer. That's how bad it is. So it's called Whistle. Skip it, even if it's on a free service. You know, you're curious. Let me save you the aggravation. You won't make it through 20 minutes, and you'll be like, I will. Click, turn off.
What was the rating again?
4 Marxists, 2 Jared Kushners, and a Laura Loomer. Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth. This is actually okay. What they're trying to do here is down and out in Los Angeles kind of thing. L.A. Confidential. This is kind of like Los Angeles noir. What this basically is it tries to kind of be like a caper flick. Then it turns out to be it's not really a caper flick. It's almost like by the time you get to the end of the movie, it's okay, was it a con the whole time? I still don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards that it was a con, directed by and written by Bart Layton. And Hemsworth is just Hemsworth. He's just Thor. Maggie and I are watching him going like, I don't care what he's in. Just the way he talks, he just sounds like Thor. So, and he's adequate to the task. He plays a character whose name is Davis. I will surprise some people because I know Maggie can't stand him, but I actually liked Mark Ruffalo in this. He plays Lou the cop. I know you can't because you can't separate Ruffalo the left-tard Canadian from Ruffalo the actor. But in this role, actually, I liked him as the cop. He kind of has like the way you kind of want a beat cop detective to be, almost like a throwback to the 70s and 80s. Halle Berry is in it as well. The setup is this. And Chris Hemsworth is an orphan, basically, who is brought up in a foster home, and there is a slight attachment to his uncle, who is played by Nick Nolte. And Nick Nolte's in it, just kind of grumbles and threatens and does what Nick Nolte does. The plot of the movie basically is Chris Hemsworth is a thief. He's almost like Robert Wagner in It Takes a Thief. But he's a good thief. He's not the criminal kind of thief that goes around shooting people. And he's very meticulous about what he does. He cleans his crime scenes up so well that the cops that are chasing him, among him Lou, the detective, have no DNA evidence because he doesn't leave any behind. So he's really good at what he does. And he does the kind of thieving. He doesn't go in to stick places up for the most part. He is pretty much like almost like a burglar or prowler, as you would call it. Well, Hemsworth gets involved with this woman who, through a car accident and through a chain of events, ultimately gets involved with Halle Berry. Halle Berry is a lawyer who's working for a law firm that specializes in insuring very wealthy people's jewels and stuff and events. If they have a huge event, she does the insurance for the end. She finds out that because she's a woman and a black woman, she's never going to be promoted to partner, so they have that DEI crap in there. And then she sets out like, okay, well, if you're not going to promote me and I don't get a cut or a split or a percentage of the action, well, then I'm just going to steal it from you. I'm going to take it from you because this wealthy bastard who we just wrote this policy from, I don't like him. He's just ripe for the picking. And she then ultimately hires Chris Hemsworth, the character Davis, to basically knock off this guy's wedding. So he's going to have this big hoop-de-doo wedding. He's going to spend like $12 million at it. And there is going to be this exchange of jewels for his wife. He's going to give her as a big wedding gift. And so Halle Berry finds out about it, and the plot of the movie is they're going to steal the jewels. That's the whole plot. Meanwhile, Nick Nolte is getting tired of Davis telling him that he won't do direct robberies. He won't go into a jewelry store or that is open, for example, with a gun and at gunpoint rob people. He just won't do it. So he hires this other guy to do it, I guess Davis's competitor. And this guy has no problem with shooting and killing people and just an overall bad guy who runs around on a motorcycle. By the time you get to the interaction of the characters and then they get to pulling the plot off, there's a plot twist at the end. I don't want to spoil it, so I won't tell you all about it. The film ultimately comes to, I'd say, somewhat of a satisfying ending and almost a happy ending, depending on whose side you're on. Is it worth you watching it? Language alert, okay? there's no real sex in it. I mean, there's the lead up to it, and then the snuggling in the bed afterwards. So those two elements are in it, and the fact that I just think you could have gone different places with it. I think this could have been it could have been executed just a little bit better. Hemsworth is adequate as he is in everything. So is it worth your? And it's long. It's 2 hours and 10 minutes long. Is it worth you watching it if you have nothing else to do? Yes, if you can deal with the language. So 3 Reagans on Crime 101. And then there's a very surprising The Housemaid, which is actually pretty, it's actually really good. And Sydney Sweeney, so Sydney Sweeney plays this, basically she's homeless, she's a hobo. She's living in her car and she's trying to get a break at some gig. And so she's applying to be an au pair at places or a live-in nanny so that she can get off the streets and stop washing her hair in bathroom sinks at truck stops and stuff. So she goes and she applies to take this gig at these uber super wealthy people and to care for to be the nanny for their daughter. The wife is played by Rebecca Sonnenschein. You'll recognize her. And then the husband gets in. She gets introduced to the family, and then Brandon Sklenar is Andrew Winchester. That's the husband. Amanda Seyfried is Nina Winchester, and then you have Sydney Sweeney in there. Sydney Sweeney is actually really good in this. She's actually she's quirky. She plays a good hobo. She also plays a good snarky. She plays a good captive, and then she plays a good. I'm going to get revenge on these bastards. At the end of the day, it's a kind of the bad guy who thinks he can get away with everything, who is played by Brandon Sklenar, Andrew Winchester, ultimately discovers that 2 conspiring women, and there's a serious plot twist about 2/3 of the way through the movie. And you'll find, oh, okay, so that's how that happened. So then the last third of the movie is Amanda or Nina Winchester and Millie. That's who the character of the Sydney Sweeney plays. It's Nina and Millie getting their revenge, although Millie gets more of the revenge than Nina does, because Nina basically gets ruined by Andrew Winchester. But in the end, I don't want to spoil it for you, Andrew Winchester gets what's coming to him. There's sex, there's language. If you can get over that, The Housemaid is 3.5 Reagans. It's actually pretty well done. Directed by Paul Feig, and then written by Rebecca Sonnenschein and Frida McFadden. It's a good movie. It starts off a little kind of slow, and it's long, but I think that you'll enjoy it. If you like the good people get done in by really rich, wealthy, stinking, filthy, rich, snobbish people, but the poor people at the end get their revenge, you'll love it. So, The Housemaid, 3.5 Reagans, and that's our movie reviews. On Le Cinéma Critique for episode number 3. You'll be able to find all of my movie reviews at mikechurch.com, including the video portion, so mikechurch.com. And thank you very much. If you have a movie you want us to review, send us a note. Ask us to watch it. So that,
please let it be a good one.
Maggie says, please let it be a good one. No, they're going to send you all the ones they're suspicious of. So like, I don't know, kind of. By the way, yesterday at Apple TV, Project Hail Mary came out for purchase. So if you didn't go see it in the theater, you can now watch it at home. And again, 4 Reagans, 4 St. Thomas Aquinas. It is for Our Lady Prom Suckers. It is just top-notch filmmaking. You'll absolutely love it. Don't hesitate. If you're going to watch it, just buy it. Don't bother with renting it, because you're going to want to watch it over and over. It's going to be like a Shrek movie. You're going to want to watch it over and over and over again. It's that good, and it's out now. So there's your movie reviews for the week. All right, 844-527-8723. By the way, move your Founders Pass membership to a Dude Nation membership this weekend. Can you do that for us? You know, we helped a customer out yesterday who had a little bit of he was having a difficult difficult time trying to do the upgrade. Actually, he had canceled and he came back, and we fixed a tech glitch. You wouldn't know this, but I think that you will see it over the coming months. There'll be a marked improvement in style and design across the platforms, but certainly at MikeChurch.com. That's because this is the last week that I am in charge of and am running the technical IT, all technical aspect of the Crusade channel, Black Hat Studios, Inc., and MikeChurch.com and the Mike Church Show. Now, I'm still going to do the show. As a matter of fact, I'll have more time to do shows and more stuff like I used to do. Writing movies, putting books back into print, doing little shorts. I have time to do all that because I'm not doing tech anymore. So a company is taking the entire thing over. The person that's taken it over has been with us for a year, but she's been with me for 16 years, so I've known her for that long, and she's been doing work for us for that long. So it's someone that we know and that we trust. She's going to do, and her company, there's 4 of them, are going to do an amazing job. Wait till you see what they do to improve we call it in the business the UX, the user experience. So you'll be looking and seeing gains in that area. But more importantly than that, you're going to be seeing a lot more content and stuff coming out of me, like I used to do when I had time to do it. So I'm like a congressman in a hearing, reclaiming my time. Reclaiming my time. So today is the last day you can haggle, heckle yours truly over the tech. She's actually they're doing phone tech support, so you can actually call and yell at them and tell them what miserable people they are instead of me. So that'll be a welcome change, or telling Maggie the same thing. I just wanted to mention it because you are going to start seeing things. And look, when they take over and they change some of the systems around, you're going to, if you want to listen to this show and you want to keep your membership so you can do the podcast and download the chat room and all that, you have to upgrade. You have to. It's not going to be an option, and it's going to happen fairly quickly. So go this weekend, crusadechannel.com/join. Pick a metal level membership and just do it. Do it. So I wanted to mention that. There is a article. I just shared it with Brother Andre and Marie because as soon as I saw it and started reading it, I thought of Brother. Because Brother is just fantastically smart and so well-schooled in Philosophia Perennis in St. Thomas. So First Things has an essay by Mary Harrington called Tomophobia. Now, what is tomophobia? It's fear of St. Thomas Aquinas. Tomophobia. Now, I love reading Mary Harrington, and I've read her to you guys for over a decade. This is really over and above outstanding. For those of you that remain on the fence, who haven't taken Philosophia Perennis, who don't take the issue of knowledge and wisdom, and certainly of philosophy, seriously, and the study of, and being immersed in Catholicity, what Steve Cunningham would call the sensus fidelium. That's why his site and the YouTube channel is so good. In the sensus fidelium. Read this essay, because Mary Harrington becomes a mom at 38. And she goes, all this stuff is happening to my body. I have my classic, my liberal arts training. I'm a journalist. And, I lean left, and all this stuff is happening to me. And I'm going like, what is going on? And then my mind kicks in. And then, I'm having all these thoughts because I have all these hormones. And then I discover St. Thomas Aquinas. We'll be back.
You want your talk radio shaken.
Too many free radicals.
Free radicals, sir?
Too much red meat and white bread, and too many dry martinis.
boils, not stirred.
Then I shall cut out the white bread, sir.
Truth never dies on the Veritas Radio Network's Crusade.
Hello, Red, White, and Dude Nation. I'm Janet Huxley at the Mike Church Show News Desk with your crucials for May the 15th, 2026. This report is brought to you by the all-new Mike Church Show website and Dude Nation membership service. Check it out today at the all-new MikeChurch.com. In the market report, the Dow closed up 0.75%, the S&P was up 0.77%, NASDAQ was up 0.88%. Today is National Bring Flowers to Someone Day, so if you missed your chance on Mother's Day, today's your day. Bring flowers to somebody. It's also National Chocolate Chip Day. Have you ever wondered how a single ingredient would change a recipe? If it weren't for one curious baker, it would be hard to imagine where we would be without the invention of chocolate chips. It was in 1937 that Ruth Graves Wakefield of Whitman, Massachusetts, must have been curious about what a little bit of chocolate would add to her cookies. While working at the Toll House Inn, she added cut-up chunks of semi-sweet Nestle chocolate bar to a cookie recipe. The cookies were a huge success. And in 1939, Wakefield signed an agreement with Nestle to add her recipe to the chocolate bar's packaging. In exchange for the recipe, Wakefield received a lifetime supply of chocolate, and the Nestle brand Toll House cookies were named for the inn. Today is also National Pizza Party Day and Endangered Species Day. It's Malcolm X Day and Peace Officers Day. It's Bike to Work Day and NASCAR Day. And it's National Transportation Defense Day, and it's also, by the way, National Nylon Stocking Day. Our quote of the day, to have a right to do a thing is not at all the same as to be right in doing it. G.K. Chesterton. You can learn about today's Saint of the Day in the Saint of the Day podcast at crusadechannel.com. You're listening to The Mike Church Show and the Red, White, and Dude Nation.
Hi, folks. It's Mike Church, founder of Founding Father Films, asking you to learn the true stories of America's founding by purchasing my movie, The Spirit of 76. The Spirit of 76 details the true story of the writing and ratifying of the U.S. Constitution.
And here I would make this inquiry of those worthy characters who composed a part of the late Federal Convention. Sir, give me leave to demand, what right had they to say, we the people? Who authorized them?
This animated movie comes complete with collector's booklets, DTS surround sound, and is packed with hours of bonus features. Learn the true stories of America's founding and order Mike Church's The Spirit of 76 on a 2-DVD or 3-CD set. Available now at mikechurch.com/DVD and by calling 844-527-8723.
Some of the best things on earth come in threes.
That's right, Lee. There's the Three Stooges.
And then there's the Cajun cooking trinity of onions, bell peppers, and celery.
And of course, guys, there's the Holy Trinity.
Now, I'm not comparing my Trinity to the Holy Trinity, but I guarantee you, my Trinity of homemade small batch rubs can put a heavenly smile on your taste buds. And all three come with my 100% money-back guarantee. If you don't love and think that my Trinity of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu, and Acadiana steak seasoning aren't the best and most essential spices in your arsenal, I'll buy them back from you.
It may not be holy, King Dude, but that's the best spice and rub deal on this side of heaven.
Order Mike Church's set of Trinity rubs and save big at mikechurch.com/rub. That's one bottle each of beast and butt rub, chicken mamu lemon herb seasoning, and Acadiana steak seasoning for one low price and the King Dude's money back guarantee. Order today at mikechurch.com/rub. Who needs a 007 license to kill?
That gun looks more fitting for a woman.
You know much about guns, Mr. Bond?
When you've got a license to kill, heresy.
No, I know little about women.
The truth is bonded on the Mike Church Show.
2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Staying alive in too much heaven. No jive talking spoken here. Final segment of the week here on the Mike Church Show here. A full week for us, all 5 days. You know, something happened just 2 days ago. You know, we announced yesterday the 2026 version of the Golden Truth Ticket, giving away a troy pound of 24 karat gold again. And contest will start on June the 8th. And our media co-sponsor and our partner, Sensus Fidelium YouTube channel, which I mentioned yesterday, and we brought Steve Cunningham on. And Steve, you'll be hearing a lot from Steve. Well, after yesterday's program, Steve sent me a message, and he goes, dude, you have to go watch Brian McClanahan's latest video cast. I'm like, okay. And if you don't know Brian McClanahan, Professor McClanahan, he used to be on the show often. He helped me put the book Is Davis a Traitor back into print. He's the one who encouraged me to read it. And he wrote 11 of the 21 introductions to the chapter. He wrote the introduction and the foreword for the book. He put several good books into print. One of them, The Founding Fathers' Guide to the Constitution, which is a really great one if you can find it used. It's out of print. The people that bought Regnery saw to that. They killed it. But it's a handbook on clause by clause of the U.S. Constitution, very well researched and explained. In any event, and Brian is now the director, I think, of the Abbeville Institute, one of our favorite institutes that's left out, institutions that's left out there. You know, we love the Abbeville Institute; does such great work. So Steve says, dude, you gotta go watch Brian's video cast. Fast forward to 19 minutes in.
Which one?
It's the one about Memphis can secede, the latest one. So I went, okay. I went, okay. So I pulled it up and I started watching it, and lo and behold, you know, he's talking about Antonio. Oh gosh, what's his last name? It's not Robinson. It is Antonio Robinson, the Memphis legislator who has been pushing for Memphis to secede from Tennessee. Now, I didn't know this since 2018. So Assemblyman Robinson has been saying, why don't you just let Memphis go? We're not part of Tennessee anyway. So Brian McClanahan is talking about this, and then he goes, and I would just like to say that an old friend of mine, Mike Church, has recently written about this on his Substack. And he pulls my Substack up, and he goes, and the title of it is Reminder, Secession is Still a Legal Political Act, and we should take advantage of, or that we should use again. It is warranted. Something to that effect. So Brian's going through it, and he's going like, this is very well written, and it's not long, and it gets right to the point. And he reads my introduction to the excerpt from the book from Bledsoe, and from Is Davis a Traitor, which you can get at shop.mikechurch.com. I thanked Brian for mentioning me, and then he read my conclusion, and he goes, why not, Mike? He goes, why can't you have a Catholic confessional state here in the United States or in North America? Why not? And secession is the political act that could bring that about. Now, I bring this up in the context of Mary Harrington and this piece about homophobia that I'm going to share a little bit with you on. And something that Brian McClanahan said, and I haven't had a conversation with him, and so he was the first guest on the Mike Church Show on the Crusade channel in November of 2015. That's the last time I talked to Brian. So what's that? 11 years. So and it's not like we're pen pals either. So he says, in the course of his reading my Substack piece to his audience on the air and telling them that they should go and follow me on Substack and read, he says something to the effect, he says, now, one thing about Mike Church, and maybe you don't know this as you go to read this, he goes, but Mike is a very traditional, devout Catholic. And I go like, that is the supreme compliment that you could pay to me. That in some ways, I must be conducting my public affairs and the things that I write, the things that I say, the videos that we publish that are publicly available, not just to members. I must be doing it in a way that someone, and Brian is whip smart, I mean genius smart, especially when it comes to the Constitution and American history. For Brian to say that to me, it was just like the greatest compliment. I mean, put it on the tombstone pizza. What do you want on your tombstone? So I just wanted to thank him publicly again, and just to share with you that we must be doing something right, because people that we're friends with, but it's not like we go to Mass together and we're having conversations, recognize some of the work here that we do, and that we seem to be good, faithful Catholic people. That's just what I wanted to say, and that's a compliment. And I will take that compliment over that. Yeah, and Mike gets millions of views on his show and his podcast and his videos. I'll take that he is a traditional, devout Catholic over he gets millions of views on his shows any day. Now, Mary Harrington, tomophobia. Now remember, she has a baby at 38. Now, I'm not a woman, so I can't imagine this, but I imagine that this is a pretty heavy toll, that the older you get, that the more difficult it becomes to bear children, even though some women bear them into their 50s, early 50s. It happens. St. Catherine of Siena's mother had 24 other children. When Maggie O'Connell heard that, she went, "No way! Lies! There's no way a woman's body can survive 25 childbirths." She did. So Mary Harrington is dealing, and she's an author and a columnist, and we read her often, is dealing with the fact that she's become a mother at 38, and all these things are happening, crazy things are happening to her body. Then it starts to have an effect on her mind. And she starts wondering about certain things, so she goes in search of the truth. And then she finds it. And in this piece at First Things, she describes it. So this is what she says. And I'm going like, that needs to be shared. I've spent the years since then hunting for that. She's talking about since she had the baby. I've spent the years since then hunting for that missing vocabulary. I didn't find it until last summer, when an academic friend advised me to read Edward Feser's Scholastic Metaphysics, A Contemporary Introduction. Now, I'll stop right here. If you don't know, Brother Andre Marie has quoted Dr. Feser. He is another jet fuel genius when it comes to philosophy and applying it to our modern issues world and to the faith and to politics, to everything. I love reading Feser. I don't think Feser intended it as a page-turner, but I tore through it like it was an airport novel. Pretty much every page came with an, "Oh, I see," moment. It felt like having spent years trying to do fine electrical engineer with an old spoon and a half a brick, only to be gifted a set of precisely machined tools. At that point, I realized that the vocabulary I had thought was missing was not missing at all. It exists, but is little known, except in circles such as this one. And she's talking about the audience who reads first things. Few readers will be surprised by the big reveal that what I'd been looking for all along was Aristotelian metaphysics as adapted by medieval theologians, among whom the greatest and most influential was Thomas Aquinas. Drum roll, please. Thomas Aquinas. In his Summa Theologia, St. Thomas reconciled Aristotle's metaphysics with Christian theology. Now, let me just pause right here, because I've been talking a lot about my course in ethics lately, and that how the Greeks called it ethics, the Latins called it moral theology. Same thing. And where do we get the greatest study of it from? St. Thomas Aquinas, the Summa, yes, several Summas. People think it's only Summa Theologica or Theologia. That's just one of the two Summas. But the reason that St. Thomas started to do this was because he was reading Aristotle. And if you read Aristotle on ethics, a Manichaean, not Manichaean, oh gosh, he'll come to me in a minute, ethics, you will realize that Aristotle was, I mean, he was right there. Now, he was a pagan. Certainly he was a pagan. But that doesn't mean that he got everything wrong. He got most things correct. So St. Thomas takes the ethics study of Aristotle and then basically says, okay, and this is what the Christian faith, the Catholic faith, teaches about that, so we can bring them together now for the first time. In his Summa Theologia, Thomas reconciled Aristotle's metaphysics with Christian theology. It is a remarkable achievement which set the terms for serious inquiry into the nature of things pretty much from Thomas's day to the 17th century. I'm not qualified to summarize the Summa, but I am indebted to Feser and behind him the scholastics, and especially Thomas, for the three tools that speak to the concepts I'd found so frustratingly missing from my writing work and from political discourse more generally. The first of these tools is the distinction between potency and act. Act describes what something is right now, whereas potency comprises all those things it could be, based on the kind of thing it is. Now, folks, if this hasn't wet your whistle and made you wonder, man, maybe I should take that Brother Francis course at the St. Benedict Center on Philosophia Perennis that KingDude's always blathering on about. Well, you would know things that Mary Harrington's writing about that are new to her. When she says potency and act, Brother Francis talks about potency and act all the time. I love it in the ethics discussion where Brother Francis says, oh, no, he was talking about Father Leonard Feeney. Oh, no, Father's going to give us another lecture on the difference between the make and the do. And Brother says, but this is a difference that you must know, you must have it. And when you have it, things will look so much differently to you. You can tell I'm a little excited about it because you can't imagine how your thinking will change when it's ordered correctly. And this is what has happened to Mary Harrington. I don't know if she's a Catholic or not, but if she's reading St. Thomas, she will be. I don't care if she's a practicing Satanist with the coven described in Cary Gress's book. She will become one. Because principle of non-contradiction, something can't be true and false at the same time. Either there is one true, holy, Catholic, apostolic faith, and that's it, there is one faith. Or there is not. Can't be true and it can't be false at the same time. What are you saying? Well, you can call those other ones religions, but there's only one true faith. And as she says, returning to my example of a baby, we might say she's an infant in act, but an adult in potency. Bingo. Throughout the Philosophy of Perennis course, Brother Francis talks about the potency of matter and the potency of things. It is so important to grasp that simple concept. There's a bit more to maturation than just potency, a point we'll get into with the third missing tool. But in general, we can understand potency as the things something could become, given the kind of thing it is. A calf could become a bull, or it could become dinner, but it could not become a retractable pencil. So this is where you wind up when someone says, "No, my daughter is a boy, or is a girl, or is a boy living in a girl's body." No, your daughter's nature. What is the nature of the thing? It is female. What does that mean? In its nature, you can't separate the essence of a thing from its nature. As Mark Kressler used to say, it's baked in. You can't separate them. It's always going to be a daughter and a girl. You can mutilate it. You can drug it. You can surgeonate it. You do all those things. Its nature is always going to be, what's nature is human, but its nature, male or female, it's always going to be female. And there's nothing you can do about it. And when you understand this, and the simple tenets of how the world works, and that it was created by God. Darwin was a liar. There is a created order. Things were created. Why were they created? For you and for me. Why is that? To see the magnificence, the omnipotence of God as the creator and the beauty of his creation. So then you know then that your purpose is actually that. And I don't want to get too deep into this. Read her essay here, but again, I continue to encourage people. I don't know if anyone's taken me up on the offer. Maybe we should ask Brother for a discount code and get a bunch of people signed up and start an online chat for Philosophy of Perennis.
It's on sale for 50%.
Is it 50% off? You should, folks, it's worth the investment. I'll buy it back from you. It'll change your life for the better. Look what it did to me. Okay, 844-527-8723, our call-in line telephone number. Maggie, before we go to Magna, because there's some sound bites I want to ask her about, I want you to play digital media file number 8, please. This is Thomas Massey. Now, look, a lot has changed in the last 48 hours. Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin, get out the phone, you big dope. Trump and all the rest, and Lara Loomer, and all the people that made this fictitious sexual assault charge up against Thomas. They were popping the champagne corks 2 nights ago when Polymarket said that Gallerin was leading in the polls and that the Fox News geezers were going to handle the day and they were going to carry the day, and Gallerin was going to be a shoo-in and he was going to win by a landslide. 48 hours later, more polling has come out that Gallerin is not ahead, that Massey is still ahead, and now it just comes out to voter turnout. And you know what they're going to do this weekend? Here, let Massey tell you what they're going to do to try and do to him this weekend.
Today, I introduced a bill called the AIPAC Act. You'll see this come up. Nobody knows this. I'm debuting it on your show right now, which would make AIPAC subject to Foreign Agent Registrations Act. For some reason, they're immune right now. And I think not just the money that's spent in politics, but the lobbying that happens on Capitol Hill should be reported if it's a foreign country, whether it's Great Britain, Australia, Turkey, Qatar, or Israel. It needs to be reported.
And the amount of money that goes to these influencers, it's really interesting. You'll see them sort of all, publishing the same attacks online almost simultaneously, or they'll release videos. They're
Turn
all
your
on the
limiter
same
down.
page, and it's like they're receiving talking points.
Not you.
They should have to disclose that they're receiving this money, right?
Yeah, when I do a commercial, and I've said this so many times, when my sleep, I think about it. I'm Thomas Massey, and I approve this message. I'm Thomas Massey, and I approve this message. That's either at the front or the end of every commercial I do. And when I send out a piece of mail, it says who did it, and my campaign, Thomas Massey for Congress, approved by Thomas Massey for Congress, paid by. And we need that. I believe we should have that same sort of truth in advertising on social media, because if it's a good idea in the other outlets, it would be a good idea on social media, particularly because so much of it is foreign money. I remember all of these complaints about election interference, fraudulent elections, and the Russians being involved, and who else being involved. But really, the elections are being influenced online.
And I'll play another soundbite, but making foreign entities register that lobby the Congress. Why isn't this already a law? Why does this have to be introduced in 2026? It should have been introduced in 1791. 1791, when the first Congress met. But you know why it wasn't? And look, Magdalene Rose, our political affairs contributor. Do you know why John Adams had McHenry, I can't remember who it was, introduced the Alien and Sedition Act in the U.S. Congress in 1798?
No.
Foreign election interference. Alien and sedition. They considered an act of sedition, because Adams was being told that the French were trying to buy members of the House of Representatives to be favorable towards France. And then there was the thought that the French were going to go to war with the Americans. Why in the world would the French go to war with the Americans? But they were so fearful of France interfering in our politics, Congress passed an act. An act. The Sedition Act will land you in jail if not executed, or land you in jail for the rest of your life if not executed. That's how horrified and how committed they were to having no foreign interference in American elections. And here we are today. You could use the Alien and Sedition Act then. You could basically use it against AIPAC if you wanted to.
Well, you could. And this Massey thing, the level of stupidity that Donald Trump is exhibiting to do this is so ridiculous. The things Rand Paul got away with being against, and that was fine. But Thomas Massey, Trump is waging war against him because Thomas Massey had a glow-up, and he's cool. And people listen to him, and he's on the cutting edge, and he talks about farmers' rights, and he talks about all those things. I think Donald Trump is legitimately concerned that Thomas Massey is going to become a Republican kingmaker or could be on a presidential shortlist. But on the other side of that, why is that a bad thing? Like, if you're Donald Trump of 2024, you wouldn't think Massey rising to the top is a bad thing. But Donald Trump of 2026, however, has gone insane.
Okay, I want you to hear the next one about Massey. Now, here on the Mike Church Show, it is the 15th of May, 2026. Let me just make the point. CKD, are you saying that the Alien Sedition Act? Well, they were also afraid, like I said, of a war, and they thought that there were traitors. Sedition Act. But they suspected that the traitors were trying to influence members of Congress. That's how they were going to infiltrate the U.S. government. Does everyone not understand that that's exactly what AIPAC has done? This is basically, which is why I'm saying, 2026, you have this now. Maybe previous Congresses thought that they didn't need the Foreign Lobbyist Registration Act because they had the Alien and Sedition Act, or no one could ever conceive that an American member of the U.S. Congress would actually sell its soul to a foreign entity, to a foreign government. But that's exactly what has happened. Now, you have to hear the second one. Play Massey on Cincinnati Public Radio. This is the one that is as equally, if not more, disturbing.
The bad thing about being the nail that sticks up is the force of the whole swamp has come down on me. And it's billionaires. It's not a grassroots funded thing. It's not like a bunch of MAGA, activists have said, I'm going to send $20 to this guy in Kentucky so he can beat Thomas Massey. It's predominantly 3 billionaires who are upset that I've never voted for foreign aid, particularly foreign aid to Israel. And they're also upset that I vote against the wars. And so these billionaires are funding a super PAC called MAGA Kentucky. They are not MAGA, and they have never been to Kentucky. They're hedge fund managers and gambling magnates. There will be $6 million spent this week on TV and radio and mail. So I apologize to the folks here in Cincinnati who have to watch the ads about this race in Kentucky. But some people ask me, well, surely, Congressman Massey, now you would be against Citizens United, which allows unlimited spending in super PACs. And it's a double-edged sword. Let me tell you why I'm not against it. There are reforms that I could go for. Let me give you a reform. Maybe what if you just said the only money you can spend in Kentucky in a race in Kentucky is from the people of Kentucky? I don't believe that would hinder your First Amendment. But the issue of the super PACs, what's happened is Fox News, which is sort of they've got a monopoly on the screens in a lot of Republican houses, particularly people between the ages of 65 and 75. For the last 18 months, they've not invited me on a single show. And why are they doing that? Because they're afraid if they give me a venue to speak that the White House will shut them out. And they want access more than anything. They need access in this Trump presidency, whether it's with cabinet secretaries to come on their shows, at the drop of a hat, or to get a special scoop on something. That's what Fox wants. And so to keep that special access, they have blacklisted me. So I can't get on TVs in the living rooms of the people that vote in this election unless I can buy TV ads. Otherwise, it'd be hard to get on Fox. I have to pay to be on Fox now.
Now, Magdalene, number one, what do you think about that?
Well, that's not surprising to me. I think that a lot of the problems that we have now are because people have become so desperate to have that Trump access. And honestly, right now, I don't know what the Trump access gets you. He says the same 5 things over and over again. He says he cites the same polls over and over again. He's not a newsmaker in any positive way. And this is a disagreement I have with young Republicans right now. I think everyone should be figuring out who they are post-Trump rather than trying to base their entire life around Trump. This is not 2017.
Now, let me say the second point is this. So Thomas is appearing on Cincinnati Public Radio because his district is near enough to Cincinnati, Ohio. Kentucky's right on the other side of the river, that he can reach local voters. That's who ought to be determining a congressional election. Not necessarily Cincinnati Public Radio, but local media. Not Fox News. People, if you want to talk about rigged elections, this is one that Trump and his cronies are trying to rig. I mean, the audacity of these people globetrotting and whining about the SAVE Act. And then in the next breath, well, the SAVE Act wouldn't stop you from doing what you're doing here. Maybe that's not a coincidence here. Here, go ahead.
So I would just say you're right, that they are trying to steal an election. And they're trying to steal an election not from somebody who betrayed us and started voting for gun grabbing and all that. I totally get that. They literally are stealing an election because they don't like the man the people sent to represent them over and over again. Like, if that's not a sign of being out of touch and in the wrong, I don't know what is.
Now, if you go to X.com right now, and if you're following me, you will see that I just retweeted something that that came up this morning here. I don't know who this woman is. She's a paid hack AIPAC influencer, Gina Milan. Here's her tweet. Lauren Boebert will campaign with Thomas Massie in Kentucky tomorrow and is expected to endorse him. Just another snake going against President Trump. I'm glad these frauds are exposing themselves right now. No, ma'am, you just exposed yourself. And then to add insult to the injury, and I'm so glad that these people are doing this, Cat Turd goes on top. Time to vote out at Lauren Boebert. This is how she repays Trump for all his past support for her. Enough of these backstabbing snakes. My tweet. You see these two? You want to hurt them? Use your influence and unfollow them. You know, I wonder if Tucker Carlson wants to take back his interview with Cat Turd. I'm now wondering. Was that a paid interview? Is Carlson paid? Somebody get this guy, hey, look, we'll slide you $100,000. Interview Cat Turd. Boost him by 1 million viewers, by 1 million followers. When Cat Turd first started being Cat Turd, he was just some guy who was cracking cat turd jokes on the internet. They bought him. But the key thing to remember is, ladies and gentlemen, he's not in it so he can be a media and so he can participate in making America great again. He's in it for himself. He's in it to ingratiate and enrich himself, and to do so, he sold his soul to people that marginally have souls. This is just, if this doesn't turn people off, what little respectability or credibility that you may have left on influencers on X, I don't know what will. And by the way, I'm not the biggest proponent or fan of Lauren Boebert, but I tell you what, when they tried to ramrod that extension of the 702, the FISA Act through, who were the two Republicans and the three Republicans that killed it? Massey, Burchett, and Boebert. So if I lived in their districts, I would donate to all three of them. I don't think that we should be donating to members of Congress that are outside of our districts. I think you should pick a candidate, and if you want to support him in your district, you should do that. Not that supporting someone across state lines is illegal. I'm not saying it's illegal. This is part of the problem. Even your local congressional election, which isn't local anymore because they represent 750,000 people, is now usually won and lost by what? Influence and advertising.
That's very true. And the idea that everyone must be forever grateful to Donald Trump is getting old. I don't care anymore. It's so wonderful that he took over the Republican Party and saved us in 2016. Yes. It does not mean that no one can ever disagree with him. I mean, the level of back padding that goes on with Donald Trump and some of these influencers, they betrayed Trump. How so? How did they betray Trump? Because Paul Ryan legitimately betrayed Trump, and nobody cared. Nobody cared. We were told to just get over it for party unity. There have been people who have legitimately betrayed Donald Trump that I've criticized. People are like, no, it's party unity. Don't trash them. And yet we're supposed to be upset because the true constitutionalists continue being constitutionalists. It's a very frustrating thing. And, I think going forward, I would really love to have someone elected who's not also a mini cult leader. I think that would be great for the Republican Party.
You know what? I almost think that I was telling Maggie, I said, we inadvertently, or maybe by Our Lady's grace, stumbled on something 2 weeks ago when we started talking about things through the lens of a really, really local and the futility of federal politics, and that the whole damn thing is just rigged. It's rigged. And if you don't believe it's rigged, just look at what they're trying to do to Thomas Massie. No, Magdalene, you're going to see this on X, so I'm just going to tell all of you, Maggie will probably go on and retweet it in just a moment. Sierra Dante, an old friend of ours, a wonderful Dude Nation Medal member. She's in our chat room groups, and she and I have been following each other for forever, it seems. Sierra says, MTG, please go on at the King Dude Morning Radio Show. You are both America first. It would be epic. Sierra, thank you for that. I retweeted her and I said, I'm game, but she can't. Bannon won't allow it. Now, I wonder, because Marjorie Taylor Greene does not like to be outgunned. She doesn't like to be told what to do. I wonder if she responds. I say no, but you never know. No.
Well, but honestly, she should come on. Like, if she's going to be a truth fighter, if she's going to be a truth fighter, then come on. What does it matter if Steve Bannon doesn't like Mike Church, although he denies it, but it's true? Like, what does it matter? Why is it? You're not in Congress anymore. She's in Costa Rica most of the time now, so what does it matter? But this is the same thing. Steve Bannon is like playing this weird middle game when it comes to Massey, where he's like, I understand why Trump wants him out, but also, he's helped with these things. People, just say that Donald Trump is being ridiculous. And that the amount of money being poured into this race, can you imagine if we put this much money into flipping some congressional seats in Arizona or Nevada? We would have the Sun Belt back. But no, Donald Trump has to wage war against Congressman Massey.
Okay, so to that end, why doesn't Bannon just pick a side? You're supposed to be super Trump. Trump can't ever do anything wrong, all the MAGA influencer bot says. So why don't you just pick the Trump side? Is this Steve Bannon thinking that there is a downside to being pro-Trump for whatever it is that's going to happen after the 2026 midterms and in 2028? I think that it is.
I agree.
He's nothing if not shrewd, right?
No, you're right. I completely agree. And if that's not an indicator to people that this is not so cut and dry and this is not just trying to primary somebody, if Steve Bannon thinks that Thomas Massey is powerful, because let's say Massey loses, I don't think he will, but let's say he does, he's going to become the most vengeful, like ready to strike former Republican there is. He will eviscerate people. And young libertarian men and women especially love him, will come to his defense. I would be very interested to see what he builds out. Trump gets him primaried. He makes a formidable enemy for him and his legacy.
Well, Trump did depose of a Massey-like character in Indiana. I wasn't following that race, but you're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
So there has been, but not nearly as not nearly as popular as Thomas.
No, but he can get it done. And this is what I'm saying. With libertarian institutions, with the Mises Institute, Libertarian Party currently is going through a lot of changes in leadership, as are other organizations. If Massey loses this and the leadership race for the Libertarian Party is still open, don't be surprised if he becomes head of the Libertarian Party. And he commands all the resources, which is millions of dollars. People don't realize how much money they have there. If he does that, the Republicans better be afraid, because he's not going to drop out so there's no third-party spoiler candidate. He'll go for it.
You know what? I can make a phone call. I can send an email to Lou Rockwell and say, Lou, I want back in. Oh, really? You want to speak at our next conference? I'm in.
Yeah,
I'm in with those people. I spent years with them. We pursued another angle of conservatism and away from the emphasis on Austrian economics. The Mises Foundation is funded to the gills. Look, go to Auburn University. It's right down the road from Jordan-Hare Stadium. I've been there half a dozen times, spoke there. Thank you, Lou. Go to Auburn University. You will be stunned. The Mises Institute is grandeur. It's a palace. So the library just to go to the library is incredible. But let me tell you something else. You've got the Koch brothers, the lean libertarian, have been pouring billions of dollars into whatever entities. That's not an endorsement of the Koch brothers. Save your hate mail. I'm just pointing a fact out. You also had the Dunlop Foundation. The Dunlop Foundation, the woman who's the heir, I think her name is Susan Dunlop. Don't quote me on that. The woman who was the heir to the Dunlop fortune took a lot of the money and put it into a trust, called it the Dunlop Foundation, and they founded one of the greatest online libraries on earth, the Online Library of Liberty. It is. I'm stunned when I'm doing research for a Substack or a show, or back in the day for a movie or whatever. I lived on the online library for liberty. So you're right. Libertarians have money. Money is not an issue. They don't have candidates.
And they have a lot of children. And recently, like in the last 20 years, they've started to have a lot of children. So they're not without like a vested interest in the future.
Not at all.
They're in that camp too. So if Massey loses and Donald Trump takes his little stupid victory lap on Truth Social that Cat Turd will retweet, if that happens, they could say to Thomas Massey, "You want to be the head of the Libertarian Party? You want to run the Republicans into the ground? You want to become a spoiler?" And I can't even be mad at libertarians if they do that, because they delivered Trump the White House.
They did.
Came out for him in New England states and in the Rust Belt, especially in the Sun Belt, because they love living there. And he betrayed them over and over again. So you know what? As much as I am a vote Republican no matter what, I get it. And if I get it, other people will get it who are a lot less hardline.
Now, I want to explore another angle here with the libertarians. Let's just call them the traditional wing of the Republican Party, which I am currently in. You don't have to play the whole thing, Maggie, but just for the audience or for Magdalene, just play like the first minute and a half or so of digital media file number 1. This is what should break MAGA into 81 million pieces.
I would assume I'm in Beijing. If I wanted to buy property near one of their military installations, I don't think President Xi...
No, they wouldn't let you. I don't... Look, it's not that I love it. You want to see farm prices drop? You want to see farmers lose a lot of money? Just take that out of the market. But they've...
Take the Chinese investment in farms out of the market.
Time. Obama did nothing about it. They bought a lot of it during the Obama administration. He did nothing about it. As far as the students, it's 500,000 students they come, good students. I could tell them, I don't want any students, is a very insulting thing to say to a country. They would then immediately go out and start building universities all over China. But if you don't have those students, good students, by the way, if you don't, and we do another thing, you know, if they're good and they want to stay in America, we won't give them a green card and things like that. You know, and that not only them but other countries. But if you want to see a university system die, take 500,000 people out of it. And you know, the ones that won't be hurt are the top schools. The top schools will do fine, but your lower schools, the ones that don't do quite as well.
Okay, stop the tape. I can't stand to hear any more of this man. So American universities, if we don't have 500,000 members of the Chinese Communist Party come in and subsidize them, are going to go under. That's one. Secondly, if we start kicking the Chinese landowners off of American farms, and the American farms are going to go under. What are you saying? It was to make America great again, not make China have a stranglehold on making America great. What the hell?
It's ridiculous. So based off of his position, he's saying that if we take Chinese students out, that the bad schools are going to suffer. So yes, a lot of high-level Chinese students are going to the University of Idaho. A lot of them are going to like those mid-level state schools. That's a lie. That's a straight-up lie. He's saying that the high-level schools aren't going to suffer. Yes, they are, because that is where they send their children. They don't send their children to the University of Montana. They send them to Harvard and to Yale and Princeton, and specifically Princeton. So this is just a lie. And it's so aggravating because I know it's a lie. You know it's a lie. And so do the millions of young people who voted for him. And he keeps repeating it like, this is just the hard truth. This is the hard truth. So when a CEO of a company in China who's worth like $8 billion is selecting a school for his son, he's only going to send him to the top schools. If we pulled this, if we stopped letting them take these spots, I think these schools would return to normalcy. They would return to letting Americans of all races and genders in, and we would have a shot at being globally competitive. But if an American student misses a spot because of a Chinese student at Yale, that hurts us. Doesn't hurt China.
He even said the follow-up to that was, what will happen is You want China just building universities in China for their students? Like, yes.
Yeah, why
yes,
not?
why
Is
not?
that our problem? Why is that our problem? So what if they build a good school for themselves? Like, I don't understand this. He is of the position that if any country does anything good for itself, it's bad for the United States. No, not if it takes away the financial and resource burden that's placed on us.
His argument is that the Chinese students come here and learn American culture at universities, and then take it back and Americanize China.
Oh, yes.
China.
Yes.
No, that's not what
Well,
that. First of all, that's illegal.
Ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Does he also think that if we just export American values, it'll all work out like the Bushes did? Because that is the most neocon philosophy. If that's happening, then why is President Xi president for life? Really?
By the way, folks, if you think it can't get any more preposterous, ridiculous, that the United States can't become more of a laughingstock, joke, and a caricature of a superpower, Scott Bessent just said in China to an international gathering of reporters or whatever that the United States is now demanding that Iran must stop oil production. Yes! Yes! I don't even have the words to describe. Yeah, and of course Fox News went, yeah, they must stop oil production. Are you insane? Yes, no, let me answer the question. You are insane. So, they are convinced if they topple Massey, we're going into a land war. If this is going to be the assassination of Kaiser Wilhelm, will be the assassination of Massey's political career. Can you believe, and I think this is actually true, it is all going to come down to future, it's going to come down to one congressional race in the great state of Kentucky on Tuesday. Because if Gallerin is able to take Massey out, they're going to think that they are unstoppable and unbeatable at the polls, and it doesn't matter what they do. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to say land war, ground war in Asia, because it doesn't matter, and they're not. The American people are stupid. They're not going to vote us out of power. They watch Fox News. They know everything's going great. No, it's not. And that's what they think. You know what? That's the play. That is actually the play. And you know what? He's putting all of his eggs in that basket.
That is what he's doing. And it's disgusting. So when you couple that with the fact that apparently if a sad Chinese student worth $8 million, $1 billion doesn't go to Harvard, then our country will collapse. And then you say the right-wing libertarians can't have anybody. And then you also say you're actually not going to stand against IVF, even though your entire Catholic base is pretty much against it, who are actually like traditional Catholics. Like, I just don't understand who this administration is for. And you know what's sad? J.D. Vance gets on those podcasts with those podcast bros. And as much as I'm not a J.D. Vance supporter, I don't think he's particularly special. You can see like the light dying in his eyes when he gets on there, and he has to parrot some of this. And like they ask him real questions. And recently he was on an episode. He went, "Yeah, I don't really know." And the guy was like, "You don't really know what's going on with Iran?" He was like, "No, I mean I know what's going on with Iran, but I can't really." On a political level, I can't explain it. The sitting vice president on a political level can't explain to a podcast bro who's drinking an energy drink and smoking why we're in Iran.
Well, let me tell you, to sum up this week and to sum up the last 12 weeks of the Trump regime. Now, WTI crude today, $104 a barrel. America, $5 a gallon gas, $7 a dozen eggs. Get used to it. Brent crude, $108 a barrel. Let me add some insult to injury. You know who was on that plane with Trump? One of the CEOs, the executives of Google, ABC. Let me tell you why. These are trillionaires and billionaires on that plane that all have a vested interest in continuing the Chinese, the Chino-Anglo grift of the American public. the stock market's higher than it's ever been, Sean. It's great. Oh, God, that's great for Larry Ellison. That's great for Howard Lutnick and his firm, his mutual fund firm, and the guy that's on the plane from Goldman Sachs. Great for him. Means nothing to the 28-year-old mom in New Hampshire who's got to go to the store and buy groceries. It doesn't mean anything to the middle-class guy who's stopping to get himself an energy drink on his way to work this morning and stopped to get some gas and goes, oh, dude, come on. It doesn't mean anything to them. But here, a sign of the times. Google the term oil prices. Let me tell you what these bastards are doing. Go ahead, Google it. It'll come up and it'll say $87 a barrel. And I'm not going like, and every time I Google, I get the same number since March the 1st. $87 a barrel, that's not right. Then I go to oilprice.com and I get the real price. You know what they're doing? They're banking on stupid people who watch Fox News and who are MAGAcons and others of not clicking the link. They're banking on you looking at the $87. Oh, it's not so bad. It's only $87. No, it's $104. Google is doing that. Go ahead, try it at home. Try it. Try a Google search. Oil prices, plural. You'll get a little image at the top, and the AI will tell you it's $87 a barrel. And then they'll say, well, this is just a representation of what the spot price looks like. No, you're lying to people. You're manipulating people because people are fat, stupid, and lazy, and they're not going to click the link and go to actualoilprice.com, which is where you can go, and get $103.80 a barrel WTI crude. So the manipulation is across the board. Congratulations. And we put them in there.
We did, and we have been betrayed. And I think a lot of people need to understand that if you're looking at this and you're saying it's not that deep, Thomas Massey race isn't that deep, it's going to be that deep when we're at war. It's going to be that deep when they get a green light to take over Cuba, which is the next step. And I think someone like Tulsi Gabbard, I think she needs to figure out how much she wants to go down with this sinking ship, because she's holding on. And I respect that. I'm not Tulsi fan, but I respect the fact that she seems to have the position that she could do more good within than being on the outside,
right,
compared to Joe Kent. But they raid her offices. They leave her out of important decisions. They don't include her in the Situation Room. She finds out about things from a press briefing in the public that you and I can tune into. So if you're Tulsi Gabbard and Thomas Massey loses, she quit in defense of Bernie Sanders at the DNC. What's she going to do if Thomas Massey goes down?
She did quit at the DNC when they did what they did to the barn. Well, you know what? We're going to find out Tuesday. I understand that there are thousands of libertarian-minded people on their way to Massey's district for the weekend. The latest polling says that he's actually up on Gellerin. That the previous polling, that was like an exit poll. Suppressed the vote by making people think that the Fox News geezers, that there's enough of them to actually throw that election. Again, it all comes down to turnout. You get 20+% turnout, I think Massey will win. You get 12%, well, the geezers have an undue influence. So, and that's what it's going to come down to. All right, Magdalene, have a great weekend. We'll see you Monday.
Thank you.
Do I have any questions to answer? Because I would love to do my audience Q&A right about now for crusadechannel.com/coffee. I'm going to change that URL on Monday. It'll be mikechurch.com/coffee, and there'll actually be a little image on the homepage at mikechurch.com that you can just click, and you can go to it and buy me a cup of coffee, ask your question, leave a comment, and we'll read it at the end of the show. The thought occurs to me that through all this, what what we might just do? It may actually be to your interest to not have 1.5 million followers on X. Because people will go and look at my account. Oh, he's only got 20,600 some odd followers. He's got to be on the up and up. All right. Tracy Stoller, 2 comments. Well, we said comments or comments or questions. Yeah, we'd love to have questions. The Duke Gear Store logo looks like the Monarch logo from the Apple TV show. Two, you should listen to the Dude Nation anthem at 1.5 speed. It really pops. So you want me to listen to the Dude Nation song? By the way, I didn't write that. Alan Grossman and Jim Mosier wrote that song. It was not me. I do sing on it at the end, but I didn't write it. To the Monarch logo, I didn't realize that what we were trying to do was make a Dude Gear bow tie. So if you look at the Dude Gear logo, it's a bow tie. It's not the Monarch logo, but I see what you're saying. And then following up on your discussion of DINKs, given the recent performance of our fearless leader, Donald Camacho Trump, that's a reference to Idiocracy, do you think we are living in the brave new Idiocracy world? Consume, 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 and the alpha minus is screwing everyone else. Tracy, I thought we have been living in Idiocracy since before Mike Judge made the movie. So are we living in an Idiocracy world now? Technology has only made people more stupid. You know, there's a barometer for change that I'm going to use, and I'm going to tell people what it is. When this happens, poop's getting real, and people are getting serious about fixing what has gone wrong in these United States and in our local communities. When Mike Church can go to the store in the any afternoon, where he can go to the Piggly Wiggly or the Rouse's Market or the Bonings market down the or the Beatico Market down the street from my house on any given afternoon, doesn't matter which one it is. And when I can walk into that market fully clothed in a dignified fashion. Now, that may not mean that I am in the Oxford waistcoat and bow tie. Maybe I'm just in my slacks and a Walsingham West or Cooking with the KingDude red cap shirt, or even if I'm just in a T-shirt. And I got jeans on it, and they're tucked in, and I have shoes on. That's acceptable. When I can walk into one of those markets and not see, and it's always the same, and this is just disturbing, it's troubling to me. 50-something, 60-something, and 70-something-year-old men looking like they just rolled out the couch from a nap. In tank tops or torn T-shirts, not tucked in, with cut-off shorts or shorts of some manner, and with their Frito scoop-sized toenails, all yellow and molded and just disgusting, sticking out of their flip-flops. When my eyes don't ever have to see another man dressed as an Oscar Madison, worse than Oscar Madison, slob who has no respect for himself or anyone else's eyes, then we'll know we've turned a corner. Now, it won't mean everything's going to be perfect with the world or everything's right with the world, but when I don't have to see your Frito scoop-sized big toenails sticking out of your flip-flops in public, the world and America would have changed for the better. And that's where I'm going to leave this show at on a Friday afternoon in May of 2026. What say you? Thanks for listening and thanks for watching this week. CrusadeChannel.com/donate. Crusade Radio Guild needs a lot of help in May. Is this you? I hope it is. Please go and make a donation today in any amount. And thank you very much, and thank you in advance. Also, we're trying to get you guys to ask questions, to get involved in the show. El Rushbo used to take calls for 2 hours a day. So he got a lot of questions. Look at what Maggie and I produced in the same amount of time, 3 hours, and we don't get any questions. We'd love to answer your questions. Send them. MikeChurch.com/coffee on Monday. Or maybe MikeChurch.com/question. Oh, we'll have an internal debate over that. Shop in the store with us. The Haberdash store is open all weekend. Apply for a Dude number. Membership does have its privileges, and you'll find out The further along we go, the more those privileges will come to fruition. Go to MikeChurch.com/dude. If you're following us on social media, ask your friends to follow us, especially on YouTube. Here, you want to see the channel grow exponentially? Go to YouTube, find youtube.com/@RealKingDude. If 100 of you were to go today and all comment, it doesn't even matter what the comment is. Hell, just give the thumbs up or the thumbs down on a comment. On one of our YouTube videos, algorithm picks up on it, changes overnight. True story. It will actually do it. That's how it works. It's part of how it works. So you can help us out like that. Have a safe and blessed remainder of the weekend. Today is it was the feast of, gosh, we did it. What does it say right there? Saint John de la Baptiste, Saint John Baptiste de la Salle is our saint of the day. Pray for us. Have a safe and blessed remainder of the day today. Friday, if news breaks out, we will break in. And again, this websites are crusadechannel.com. But I want you going to mikechurch.com. For me, that's where you're going to find all things me. There's a lot of stuff coming there. And it's already there, including in the podcast. Podcast.mikechurch.com. An amazing place to spend some surfing time. We'll see you on Monday, God willing. God bless you, and Merry keep all of you.